Welcome into the Great Park, a big one tonight. It's playoff time, and the Riptide, the number 1 seed, host the CCL South Division Championship game. And with that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Alongside Colin Costigan, I'm Aiden Pham. Well, Colin, it's a big one, and both of these seasons for both teams have come down to this.
Absolutely. It's been 58 long summer days. It's been hours of batting practice that has led to this moment right here. This is where it all counts. You have a Barons team that just won their first playoff game in that program's history. This is their first time being in the playoffs in 10 years. They had the stunner in that 4-0 shutout against the Oaks yesterday. The Riptide are just going to try to get back to the championship round for the first time in nearly 10 years.
Yeah, a lot on the line. We're looking forward to it. We hope you are as well. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this one. First, for the Academy Barons, it starts with A.J. Sawamura leading things off, the center fielder. Mark Emmerman batting second at third base. Jason Dovier, the first baseman, hits third. Nick Sanders, the cleanup hitter in right field. Shortstop David Aguirre batting fifth. Isaac Ocampo, the catcher, hits sixth. Jackson Tyler, the left fielder. Bryce Morrison, the DH, and Israel Espinoza, the second baseman, are 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Quickly for the defense, for the Riptide, Montgomery in left, Dolan in center, Navarro's in right. Infield goes Castro at third base, Folds the shortstop, Madinako over at second base. Alonzo Reyes is the first baseman. Ian Nguyen does the catching. For the starting pitcher, the right-handed pitcher, Liam Thatcher, who's making his third start of the summer. Lefty A.J. Sawamura, leads off the game for the Barons, and the first pitch from Thatcher is strike number 1. We're underway. First pitch, 7:03 tonight in Irvine. It's the CCL South Championship game for the chance to play in the CCL Championship Series. The 0-1 poke to third base, past the dive of Castro in a left field. What a start for MLB Academy. Leadoff base runner on.
That's exactly what Sawamura does at the top of the order. He just slaps the ball to all fields. He does so right there. Goes the other way, and we'll see how they want to rule that one. It was a tough play over at the hot corner from Castro. It did kind of nick off of his glove a little bit, and they are going to rule it a single.
Brings up Mark Emmerman from the right side. A righty-on-righty matchup as Liam Thatcher, who recently committed to San Jose State, finds a sign he likes. Here's his first pitch. It's waved on and missed for strike number 1. Well, Liam Thatcher has been terrific this summer for the Riptide, Colin. He started the year out as an arm out of the bullpen, and he stepped up and moved into the starting rotation here late in the year. And like we said, he's been stellar. 0-1. Blooped foul along the right field line. The count is 0-2.
Yeah, you think about it, of course, for Thatcher. He has been the starter the last 2 times, on the 15th against the Philippines and then on the 21st against the Saints, and he was terrific in both. He obviously enters with a 1.17 ERA. It kind of reminds me of Amari Yolas for the Barons as well. He's also kind of taken that starter role and has also thrived.
Sawamura takes off, pitches a ball, throw down a second, gets by. Hako over there, an extra 90 feet for Sawamura. And he's on third.
That's a big difference right there. For Sawamura, it's now 29 stolen bases. It's unreal. He's only been caught stealing 3 times. And the other time that he got nabbed was on the 11th, the last time he was here, and that was when Nate Pone was behind the dish.
A chance for the Barons to strike first here in Irvine tonight. Top of the first, no score. Mark Emmerman has 9 runs driven in this year. 1-2 from Thatcher. Breaking ball missed outside, evens the count at 2-2. Emmerman is swinging a red-hot bat, .333 batting average in the second half of the summer. He's hitting .333 against the Riptide as well this year. 2-2 to him. Off the end of the bat, and a twist foul on the right side. Redo 2-2.
Yeah, you mentioned that. He's 4 for 12, of course, but I think what's really important for Emmerman as well, he hasn't struck out in any of those 3 games that he has played. He obviously had a game on the 21st where he went 0 for 3, but he worked a walk. Otherwise, he's been aboard via hits in all 3 games.
2-2 to him. Inside, lined to second base. It bloops in front of Akko, and he bobbled it for a moment, flips to first, bounces off the glove of Reyes. Sawamura scores from third, and the Barons score first in Irvine tonight. It's 1-0 here in the first inning.
Wasting no time right there. That ball may not have been hit all that hard, and Madinako didn't have the greatest beat on it, and Sawamura was mainly just waiting to see if it would touch the ground, and once it did, he took off.
So an early lead for the Barons. See how the Riptide bounce back. Up comes Jason Delviar, one of 8 righties in the lineup today for head coach James Bishop. It's 8 righties and 1 lefty. Sawamura, the only lefty, he just came around a score. Black gloves in the hands of Thatcher. Pitch inside, gets by the catcher, no win. In a second goes Emmerman. So a shaky first inning for the Riptide here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thatcher has struggled a little bit with the command, but credit to this Barron staff. They have also been hitting the ball very well. Now you're bringing up a guy in Jason Delviar who has definitely been a Riptide killer this season.
Leads the team in hits, RBIs, and homers. Delviar the batter here. 1-0 the lead. We're in the top of the first. Runner on second, that's Emmerman. Here's the 1-0. Sky high pop up to shortstop. Folds, trying to track it down. He makes the catch over his head, and that's 1 away here in the first inning.
That's more of how Liam Thatcher does better at attacking the hitter, especially to the right-handed bats. He has that fastball that kind of rises on him. I was talking with Nate Pone about this pregame and his battery mate. He really gets that tail action. It kind of rises at the very end, and that's kind of what can be really effective when there's not as much velocity at times. You'll see similar things with Brandon Weiland as well.
An ERA of 1.17 for Liam Thatcher entering today with a 15 1/3 innings of work. There's 1 out, and here's Nick Sanders, who digs into the right-handed batter's box. First pitch from Thatcher, down and outside for ball number 1. By the way, Emmerman, who's on second, reached via an error by the second baseman, and he advanced to second on a pass ball. 1 run has already come across for the Barons here in the first inning. It's 1-0. A look at second pitch home. Upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes against Sanders, the right fielder out of Campbell University. Leads the team in batting average with a .379 average. Also been a guy who's had a lot of success against Orange County. Hitting .333 against the Riptide. 2-0 off speed in the zone. Nice pitch from Thatcher. It's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Nick Sanders is another one of those true gap-to-gap guys. You talk about the 25 hits he's had on the season. Only 4 of them have gone for extra bases, but when 3 of those are homers, you could showcase that power as well.
Emmerman on second base for Sanders here. 1 out and the 2-1. Skips in. Nice job from the catcher to win. The count is 3-1. He's also done a really good job of finding a way to get on. A .519 on-base percentage. This is a Barons lineup up and down that has been productive all summer long, and that's why they're playing for the opportunity to go to the CCL Championship tonight. 3-1. Bounce foul on the left side, and the count is full. Barons, like we mentioned in the open, took down the Conejo Oaks 4-0 yesterday. It was Frankie Lopez who pitched 7 flawless innings. He struck out 10. We'll introduce you to the Barons pitcher when we begin the bottom of the first, but he's also been excellent for them this year. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first, Emmerman on second base. 3-2 from Thatcher. Low for ball 4, and it's a walk to Sanders, who's on first. First walk of the day for Thatcher.
Yeah, you just look up and down this Barons lineup, and you kind of just are amazed by the numbers that you're seeing. And I've mentioned it before, it almost feels like video game numbers. They've lost players, they've added guys on, and yet they have still played like a complete team all season, and that's really what set them apart. It's a team that hadn't won more than 13 games since the 2021 season, and you look at the first season now with James Bishop as the manager and what he's been able to do with this club. It's nothing short of incredible.
Always a fun baseball team to watch. Righty David Aguirre takes strike number 1. Count is 0-1. Aguirre is hitting 293, the shortstop. He was the one that actually had the walk-off hit against the Riptide when these two teams faced on June 25th. Runners on first and second for him, the 0-1. Low and outside once again. The count is 1-1. Aguirre's out of LMU. He's hitting 293, like we said, but he's got hits in 3 of his last 4. So it's been a good stretch for him recently. Trying to extend this 1-0 lead here for the Academy in the first inning. 1-1. Ground ball, right side. Gets in a right field. Stop sign put on at third for Emmerman. Bases are loaded after the knock from David Aguirre. Up comes Isaac Ocampo, the catcher. The Walnut Creek Crawdads took down the Sonoma Stompers earlier today, so the winner of this game will head up there to Walnut Creek to play a 3-game series, or a best-of-3 series. Good spot here for the Barons. Bases loaded with 1 out, and Ocampo stares at a pitch. Low and outside once again from Thatcher for ball number 1. Ocampo has been one of the few hitters on this Barons team that has struggled against the Riptide. He's hitting .067 when facing Orange County, just 1 for 15. Can he come through here, though, in a big moment? 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Went 0 for 4 yesterday with an RBI, Ocampo did, in that win against the Conejo Oaks. Recently committed to Biola as well, so a big congratulations to Ocampo. 1-1 inside. And it looks like it caught a piece of the batter, Ocampo, who heads to first on the hit by pitch, and that allows Emmerman to score. It's 2-0 Barons here in the first.
Yeah, if the Riptide aren't too careful here with their command for Thatcher right now, this game could get very ugly. But you could tell right there that Ocampo was definitely not faking that hit by pitch. Clearly got him on the elbow. You could see him in a little bit of pain right there, but appears to be okay now, walking up the first base line. Rather, instead is kind of walking around out there as well. That's a very sensitive area. It doesn't matter how much protection or padding you have on. You always have to be careful. And you hope that everything is okay with Ocampo.
And this is a Barons team where depth is already pretty low, so they really can't afford to lose anybody. As it looks like the Riptide athletic trainer, Dorian Montero, is called out there to take a look at Ocampo, who's in some visible pain. Welcome back to the Great Park. Still in the top of the first inning. Isaac Ocampo looks like he's all right. He's a tough guy. He's going to stay in the ball game. Bases loaded for the Academy Barons. with a 2-0 lead here in the first against the Orange County Riptide. It's been a tough first inning of work for Liam Thatcher, and the first mound visit now from head coach Brian Evans, as the entire infield will come in as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough start here for Liam Thatcher. It's very rare to see him struggle with the command. We talked about the limited walks. He had 20 punch-outs to just the 6 walks coming in. And for Thatcher as well, it's kind of just been a struggle so far finding the command with the fastball, which is his go-to pitch more often than not because he likes to get the rising action on it. But it's a big credit to this Barons team as well. They've attacked early, but then they've also laid back a little bit. They've taken advantage of that lack of command. Unfortunately, Ocampo got hit in the elbow area, but appears to be okay. A lot of course, him being a catcher is very tough as nails, but appears they have Colin Ree warming up in the pen right now, just in case he's not able to work through this inning.
Now, Liam Thatcher looking to overcome some adversity here, limit the damage to just 2 runs for the Barons. 1 out, bases loaded for the hitter here, Jackson Tyler. Pitch from Thatcher was inside, and it hit the batter once again. It's back-to-back hit by pitches from Liam Thatcher. Another run scores for the Barons. It's 3-0 here in the first.
Yeah, this is definitely an outing for Liam Thatcher that he wants to forget and try to wash away. You're getting to the point now where you just need to try to get out of this inning in some capacity. You've already allowed the 3 runs. It's been a very interesting few games, and you see Coach Evans already coming out right here for the Riptide. Appears this might be it.
Now, you mentioned Colin Ree is getting warm in the bullpen for the Riptide, and it is now going to be Colin Ree who enters the game. That's the day for Liam Thatcher. Bases loaded for the Barons. Still a chance to do some more damage. We'll introduce you to the new pitcher when we come back. Welcome back to Great Park. Still in the top of the first inning. 3 runs have already come across for the Barons. It's a 3-0 lead. Academy has the bases loaded with Bryce Morrison coming up. New pitcher in the game is Colin Ree, the right-handed pitcher out of UC San Diego. Righty-on-righty matchup. First pitch is bounced over the head of Reyes in a right field. Easily scoring is Aguirre. It's an RBI knock for Bryce Morrison. Everybody else moves up 1. And it's a 4-0 start for the MLB Academy.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do right there. Just keep the line moving. The Riptide had the infield kind of shifted in. Reyes obviously was covering the bag over at first base where Jackson Tyler was, so he was a little bit more shifted in. But that was a high chopper that hit the lip of the grass in toward right field. So credit to them to just finding the right hole.
Israel Espinoza, the second baseman now, is the 9th hitter that has come up in this first inning for the Barons. Another righty. Squares up, pops it along the first baseline. Reyes scoops it up. Gets the out of Espinoza. The run does score. It's Ocampo, and the lead is 5-0 here in the first.
Already more runs scored than yesterday's game, and it took them till the 6th inning to get their 3rd and 4th run that actually came off the bat of Israel Espinoza that ended a hitless drought for him. And right there placed a beautiful bunt just up the first base line right there. They have done everything well here in the top of the first, and that is why they are up 5-0.
Brian Evans is out there to talk with the home plate umpire, John DeCesar. Umpire crew today, DeCesar's the home plate umpire. Heath Jones is over at first, and Chris Maher, the third base umpire. Now James Bishop is walking over to talk with DeCesar.
Yeah, he's shown him the lineup card right now, it appears. So I don't know if he's trying to make changes, but I doubt it at this point in the game. Don't know. It doesn't look like they're discussing anything because I thought initially Evans came out to talk about that play over at first base, but there was clearly no sort of interference. It was just Lonzo Reyes going out to tag Espinoza on the run. So interested to see what they are, but everything appears to be in order.
Well, Colin Reed came in for Liam Thatcher, who had a tough start. Recorded just 1 out. He hit 2 batters and walked 1. And Ree, who has an ERA of 1 in 9 innings of work, is in the ball game. Looking for that 3rd and final out of this first inning. Riptide haven't even come up to hit yet, and it's a 5-0 ball game.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the testament and the grit that this Barons squad has had all season. You remember there was a stretch where it looked like they could have potentially not even been in the playoffs if they weren't careful enough. The Riptide could have beaten the Saints back on Saturday. They were up 6-4 in the 9th inning, just needed 1 more out, and that would have eliminated the Saints right then and there. It fell into the hands of the Barons, who put a good old-fashioned whooping on the Slow Blues up in San Luis Obispo, 15-0, and held them to just 3 hits. It was the fewest amount of hits that Blues team had been held to in 2 years. So they earned their way into the playoffs right here, and they are showing why they have a lead right now. We know they're still discussing a few things with Coach Evans, but really just goes to show how hard they've fought. They've faced a lot of tumultuous situations throughout the year, but they have continued to show why they deserve to be in that spot and why they are potentially just 1 game away if they're able to hold on here for making their first championship series as a program.
I'm not sure what the long discussion here is between Brian Evans and the umpires. As it stands right now, there's runners on 2nd and 3rd for the Barons with 2 outs.
Yeah, and there's nothing concerning the live stats with the game as well. It does reflect exactly what it shows on the scoreboard with the 5-0 Barons lead with 2 on and 2 out. So I don't think it's anything related to that last play or any sort of ruling within the last couple of plays. But interested right here, you just kind of see everybody kind of waiting around and not too sure what the clarification is.
Yeah, AJ Sawamura is the batter due up. He's coming up for the 2nd time in this first inning. So far it's been 3 hits from the Barons, 2 hit by pitches from the Riptide, and Liam Thatcher issued the only walk. That was to Nick Sanders. Looks like everything is sorted out here and we can continue to play ball.
Yeah, this is sort of what the Riptide have done to the Barons here at home this summer. They, of course, went 2-1. They did lose that very first matchup. It was a narrow loss back on the June 21st, on Father's Day in that 3-2 game. But the Riptide on the 11th, when they were here, they had that 7-run 3rd inning where they brought 12 runners to the plate to really kind of break away. And so far, they're doing it right before dusk could even settle.
2 outs, both runners in scoring position. Pitch from Ree, the lefty Sawamura takes. It got by Nguyen for a moment, but he quickly picks it up, and everybody stays put. And the count is 1-0. Sawamura, earlier this inning, singled, stole a base, and he came around to score 1 of 5 runs now for the Barons. Well, the Riptide have played from behind for a majority of the season. They're going to need to mount a big comeback. But right now, the focus is on getting that third and final out of this inning. Here's the 1-0. Opposite batter's box, 2 balls, no strikes. So we're getting word that there was a numbers discrepancy with Israel Espinoza, it looks like. The Barons' numbers were, I guess, messed up, but everything's sorted out here. We do know that Espinoza has worn a couple different numbers this year, as the 2-0 was in the zone for strike number 1.
Yeah, he's flip-flopped between 27 and 14, but he's primarily worn 27. We know on the lineup card he was listed as number 14, but in other discussions, I don't believe it was worthy of that long of a pause for the game, but nonetheless, everything appears to be in order now.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs to count against Sawamura. Colin Ree strides and deals. Missed outside, 3 balls and a strike. Well, Ree last pitched against the Saints a week ago up in Pasadena. He went 3 innings and gave up 5 hits. That was his first start of the summer. He's coming in out of the bullpen today in an early one, as Liam Thatcher recorded just 1 out. The 3-1 pitch sent into the net behind home plate, and the count is full.
Yeah, and that was obviously a big deal for Colin Ree because that was his first start since he was a freshman at Irvine Valley College just down the road back in 2024. We all know kind of his journey dealing with the 3 Tommy John surgeries, so just the fact that he's pitching and pitching very well for the Riptide is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, it's been a really good summer for Colin Ree. Can he find out number 3 here? 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Folds, bobbles, picks it up, fires across the diamond high, reaching out, not in time. Jackson Tyler scores, and it's a 6-run first inning so far for the Barons.
Sawamura hit that one hard on the ground, but that is definitely a play that Brock Folds knows he can make in that situation right there. And they did indeed rule it an error right there on Brock Folds. It was one that kind of one-hopped him. It's a very difficult play to make as that one was hit. That was kind of a worm burner from Sawamura right there, but credit to him for hitting the ball hard.
Second error of this inning on the Riptide. Up is Mark Emmerman, who reached via that other error by the second baseman, and he takes ball number 1 low. Here's the 1-0 from Ree. Bloop to left field, drops in front of Montgomery. Morrison scores from third. It's an RBI knock for Mark Emmerman. And 7-0 the lead for the Barons here in the first.
Well, I talked about that game on the 11th in which the Riptide had a 7-run first inning and they brought 12 runners to the plate. That was, of course, in the third inning of that game, and it made it 8-0 at that point. But the Barons have returned the favor here in the most pivotal point and now in the playoffs, and that is a huge credit to them. They are seeing the ball incredibly well.
Jason Dovier up for the second time this inning. He popped it up to shortstop last time he was up. Swings at the first pitch, sends it to shortstop. Fold flips to second base to get the out of Emmerman. And the Riptide finally find that third out. What an inning, though, for the Academy Barons. 7 runs come across. It's a 7-0 lead as Orange County's bats are coming up for the first time when we come back. Here we are in the bottom of the first inning. The Riptide find themselves down 7-0. Here's the lineup for the first time today for Orange County. It starts with Bradley Navarro, who leads things off in right field. Brock Folds hits second, the shortstop. Alonzo Reyes at first base hits third. Ryan Castro is the cleanup hitter. He's the third baseman as well. DH, Jarrett Sabo hitting fifth. Ian Nguyen, the catcher, hitting sixth. Matty Akko in the 7-hole at second base. Reed Montgomery hits eighth in left. And batting ninth is Alex Dolan, the center fielder. Starting pitcher today for the Academy Barons, Daniel Rivera, the lefty out of Vanguard. Well, I'm sure it's a good feeling for him to see his bats put up 7 runs in the top of the first. Right now, the Riptide are just looking to chip away at that lead.
Yeah, if the Riptide are going to try for their 16th come-from-behind victory this season, it's going to have to be the largest one of the entire season. We know the biggest one they had was actually the 4th game of the season. It was a Sunday game back on June 7th against the Waves. They found themselves down by as many as 5, but that was entering the middle innings of that one. You have a little bit more time to work with, but you're facing an arm in Daniel Rivera who has handled the Riptide.
A sub-1 ERA in 31 innings pitched. First pitch from the lefty to the switch hitter, Navarro, who's hitting from the right side, is a ball, and the count is 1-0. Rivera enters today leading the pitching staff for the Barons in strikeouts. So a tough arm that the Riptide are facing as Navarro fouls the 1-0 off to the right side. The count is 1-1. It's the 4th time now that Rivera has faced the Riptide, so see if Orange County can build on that experience and try to figure out the lefty.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tall task. He has a very effective mix.
1-1. Missed outside, 2 balls and a strike. Fastball, curveball, and changeup. That's the pitch mix for Daniel Rivera. Defense today for the Barons. In the outfield, it's Tyler in left, Sawamura's in center, and Sanders is the right fielder. 2-1. Half swing from Navarro. It missed a peel down at first, didn't go around. It missed the zone, so the count is 3-1. Infield goes Emmerman at third base. Aguirre's the shortstop. Espinoza at second. Del Villar, the first baseman. Isaac Ocampo does the catching. And the 3-1 missed outside. That's a good start for the Riptide. A leadoff walk to Navarro.
Yeah, the Riptide will take any base runner that they can get here on out, but that was more so Rivera just not able to find the release point just yet on the fastball. Kind of yanked a couple on the outer half. Still have a lot of time to kind of settle in. We'll see if he's able to do that to the rest of the order.
Brock Fold steps up, the righty. He's got Navarro on first base. And the southpaw deals in the dirt for a ball number 1. Brock Folds hitting second today for the Riptide, as he's done pretty much throughout the final 2 weeks of the summer. Orange County is 7-1 when he hits second. 1-0. Take from Folds. It sails in for a strike. 1-1. Just one game played this year against the Barons for Folds. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and 2 steals in that game. 1-1. Lifted foul on the right side. The count is 2 balls and a strike against the shortstop Folds out of Mount Sac.
You mentioned that game on the 24th back on Friday. He had that go-ahead RBI knock in the 3rd to make it a 2-1 game, and he brought in the 6th and final run off of that error over at second base from Espinoza.
Faces a 1-2 count with no outs. Here's the pitch. Bouncer up the middle, scooped up by the second baseman Espinoza. The second for 1, the turn of first, not in time. Navarro's out at second. Folds is safe on first, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
That was a really good turn right there. We know the speed that Folds has, and I just mentioned the last time that he hit one over towards Espinoza at second. It went between his legs in the top of the 9th last Friday, so a nice redemption right there. Handled it very well and nearly turned the 4.63 on a very fast runner.
Here's Alonzo Reyes, a lefty-on-lefty battle. First pitch to him. He drills it out towards center field. Long run for Sawamura. Back, and he makes an over-the-shoulder grab for out number 2.
Reyes definitely put a good charge into that one, but he's more of a gap-to-gap kind of hitter right there. He doesn't often drive the ball like that, so he didn't really get enough under that to really drive it. He did send Sawamura back, but that is probably the last guy, if you're a Riptide hitter, that you want to hit it to in the outfield with the speed he has.
Now we've already seen Sawamura make a highlight play earlier this summer here at the Great Park. He tracks down that baseball. There's 2 away, and here's Ryan Castro from the right side. Lefty deals. Pitch in the zone for strike number 1 against Castro, who's hitting .216. He found himself in a little bit of a slump. As of late, he was 0 for 17 at one point, but did record 2 hits in the last game he played against Arroyo Seco. 0-1. Hard hit, ground ball to third base. Gloved by Emmerman. Long throw, and he makes it to get out number 3. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on for the Riptide in the bottom of the first. Top of 2 coming up next. It's the Barons 7, Riptide nothing. This half inning is brought to you by Chick-fil-A in the Woodbury Town Center. Top of the second inning, Aiden Pham alongside Colin Costigan with you. A 7-0 lead for the MLB Academy. And their bats are back up. Inning starts off with Nick Sanders, who takes a big hack and a miss for strike number 1. Colin Ree back out there for another inning.
Yeah, and the mission is simple right now if you're the Orange County Riptide. You just want to try to have a scoreless inning in any capacity, and you want it to be kind of quick. Obviously, as logical as that sounds, you're facing a very tough middle of the order.
Another swing and a miss. Quickly ahead in the count goes Ree. The count is 0-2. Sanders, the last time he was up in the first, he was walked and he came on a score. Righty awaits the 0-2 offering from Ree. Here it comes. It's called strike 3. Good start to the inning for Colin Ree, and that's out number 1.
Yeah, got him on the outer half of the plate right there. For Colin Ree, we know he has that fastball slider, and then he'll mix in the changeup as well. He's also been working on a sinker as well. He hasn't thrown it that often, at all, in a CCL game this summer, but he's trying to work on getting that action that comes in and then goes away with the slider. That's the contrast you can get with those 2 pitches.
First pitch swinging for Aguirre. Fouled it off to the left side. For an 0-1 count, Aguirre recorded 1 of 4 hits in the first inning for the Barons, who scored 7 runs. First playoff appearance in a decade for the Academy Barons, and they've been impressive. 0-1 right up the middle in a center field. Another hit for Aguirre today, and it's now the 5th hit of the ball game for the Barons here in the 2nd. Sets up Isaac Ocampo, who was hit by a pitch in the 1st, was a little banged up, but he looks like he's all right, and he's up for the 2nd time. First pitch from Ree, low and outside, ball number 1. Ocampo recently committed to Biola. He spent time at Golden West College prior, hitting .203 this year. 1-0 pitch. Miss low, 2 balls, no strikes. The Academy had just 5 hits yesterday in that game against Conejo. We're in the top of the 2nd, and they've already recorded 5 hits. .2-0. The ground ball up the middle. Folds has it. Throws to first base, reaching out in time. Nice play on both ends from the shortstop Folds, and Ray is the first baseman to record out number 2. Aguirre heads to 2nd on the play.
That was a heck of a play from Brock Folds right there. Obviously, that was a good hit as it allowed Aguirre to get up into scoring position, but to throw against his body deep in the hole, rather almost in short center field at that rate, very tough play, and the Riptide needed it.
2 outs. Here's Jackson Tyler, the righty. Refires. It swung on and missed. 0-1. Tyler is hitless in his last 14 at-bats, but he was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. He's looking for his first hit this summer against the Riptide as well. A look at 2nd, the 0-1. Chased on and missed on a pitch low. Count is 0-2.
Yeah, this has definitely been one of the more different kind of outcomes that you've seen early on in a game versus these 2 squads right here. Half of the games they've played in the regular season have been decided by 1 run. And even in their last meeting back on Friday, it was a 3-2 lead into the 9th for the Riptide, and they made it 6-2.
0-2 called, strike 3. Colin repaints the zone, and that's his 2nd K of the night. We're headed towards the bottom of 2. The Riptide trying to chip away at that 7-run deficit. Bottom of the second inning. This half inning is brought to you by First Class Pizza in the Woodbury Town Center. Jarrett Sabo, Ian Nguyen, and Matt Inako, 5, 6, and 7 due up in this inning for the Riptide. Second inning of work for Daniel Rivera, the left-handed pitcher. Lefty on lefty matchup to begin this inning, and the pitch from Rivera. Darts in the zone for strike number 1. The Riptide trail 7-0 against the Academy. A trip to the CCL Championship Series on the line between both of these teams. 0-1. Tapped foul by Sabo in front of home plate. 0-2.
Yeah, though Sable comes in on a 4-game hit streak, he had a really good end to the regular season. He's going to have his hands full facing Daniel Rivera here, obviously. We mentioned the mix. He doesn't have the slider that has gotten Sable out in front of a lot of pitches this season facing lefties, but what he does have is he has that rising fastball, and then he mixes it in with a curveball. It is nearly a true 12-6, so you'll definitely see him have a lot of hitters out in front.
0-2 from Rivera. Sable stays alive, caught a piece of that baseball. The count remains 0-2. 3 homers this year for Jarrett Sable. One of them is against this Barons team. That one, of course, was at the MLB Academy.
Yeah, much more hitter-friendly ballpark than here at the Great Park.
No outs. 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. First strikeout of the day for Daniel Rivera. And that's out number 1 here of the bottom of the second.
Yeah, we know he relied on some quick contact to get through that bottom of the first inning, but the punch-out has really been his recipe for success all season. You mentioned the 32 that he had in his previous 31 coming into this one, and he has faced the Riptide very well in the previous 3 meetings he's seen him.
Here's the catcher, Ian Nguyen, from the right side. Pitch from Rivera missed outside for a 1-0 count. Ian Nguyen has been a huge addition for the Riptide. He came late in the summer. He's only played 4 games, but he's got hits in every game he's played. 1-0 to him. Good take. It was low and outside for 2-0 count.
Yeah, even just looking at his last 2 games, you mentioned that game on the 21st against Arroyo Seco, had the go-ahead knock to give him the lead and complete that comeback victory in the 8th, and then he, of course, against Arroyo Seco last Tuesday.
Sends the ball right back to the mound. Pitcher Rivera has it. Underhand flips to first base. That's out number 2. So 2 quick outs for Rivera, the pitcher. And here's Matt Inako. Inako's coming off a really good day on Sunday against the Blues. The righty comes up for the first time today. First pitch from Rivera. Miss low for ball number 1. Ako was 2 for 5, had a single and a triple with a run scored and a run driven in against San Luis Obispo on Sunday. Here's the 1-0. It missed high for ball 2. That's a good sign from Ako, who we know has kind of struggled early on in his summer with the Riptide. He was hitless in his first 11 at-bats with Orange County. He was 1 for 17 at one point, but he's had hits in back-to-back games as the 2-0 pitch was in the zone for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, he, of course, had that triple in the second inning on Sunday, and he hit that in a very windy ballpark up at Sinsheimer Stadium against the Blues and kind of drove it in towards the right center field gap for his first extra base hit with the Riptide.
2-1. High and outside. Nice grab from Ocampo, the catcher. 3 balls and a strike. The count against Ako, who recently committed to New Mexico State after spending 3 seasons at Fordham. Big breath on the mound for the pitcher. His 3-1. Miss low, and that's ball 4. Second walk of the night issued by Rivera. And Ako's on.
Rivera has made very quick work through majority of the batters. You mentioned the 2 walks. It was really just because he couldn't find the release point on the fastball. That was to Navarro to lead off the game. But that one to Ako, he kind of struggled a little bit towards the end when he fell behind. He tried to drop in that changeup at the end and kind of just dropped it a little bit late. But he has a very favorable matchup in which Reed Montgomery, we know he's hit the Barons well, but it's a very tough with the lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah, Montgomery homered against the Barons last week. With 2 outs and Akko on first, the lefty is up against the left-handed pitcher Rivera. First pitch, Montgomery takes, low and outside for a 1-0 count. Well, we talked to Eric Coleman. He said that might be one of the furthest hit baseballs he's ever seen. Montgomery absolutely crushed that homer. 1-0 pitch. Down low, 2 balls, no strikes. 2 homers this summer. We mentioned the one against the Barons. The other one was against the San Diego Bombers. Hitters count here for Montgomery, who's hitting .291. Rivera kicks and deals. Low and inside towards the feet of Montgomery. It's a 3-0 count.
Now, you mentioned that homer. It went 434 feet and was hit, if you round up, 110 miles an hour off the bat. It landed in the corresponding track beyond the Compton Academy that's at Compton College. That's how far he sent that baseball.
3-0. Down the middle for strike 1. And the count is 3-1. Well, Montgomery, we know he's a power hitter. He's got 23 hits this summer. 11 of them are extra base hits, but trying to just find a way to get on here. Don't need a swing for the fences necessarily. 3-1 to him. Big swing and a miss. Count is 3-2.
Yeah, that's kind of the downside to trying to swing for the fences. That's kind of how he's always been. He has always kind of had that mentality, and I think that's something that they don't want to take away from him, of course, but they also want him to try to hit in very situational moments like it is right now.
0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts on Sunday against the Blues was Montgomery. 2 outs, 3-2 count. Runner on first for the Riptide. Rivera, the payoff pitch. Ground ball to shortstop, charging in Aguirre. On a hop, and he throws over the first in time. Madanako is left stranded on the base paths. We're going to the 3rd inning. 7-0, the Barons in front. This half inning is brought to you by Fan Saves. Top of the 3rd inning, Barons 7, Riptide nothing. Bryce Morrison leads off the inning for the Academy. But before then, timeout called by the home plate umpire, John DeCesar.
I believe ball was getting retrieved to the Riptide dugout right there. The bat boy Logan went to go retrieve it.
Here's the first pitch. It's drilled to left field, down. Racing around first, headed for second goes Morrison. He slides in there, feet first, safely. Madanako doesn't agree. It was a close play, that's for sure, but the umpire, Heath Jones, signaled safe. It's a double here for Bryce Morrison to lead off this third inning.
Yeah, that ball was roped down the line. He was seeing fastball all the way right there and barreled it over towards the left field line, and it was a very close play. You still see Akko talking with Heath Jones over there, but as close as a play as it was, the initial indication kind of looked like he got in there. It's way too close of a play. It's one of those ones that you kind of just make on the field in that moment, and you have to let it be.
And no review here in the CCL, so the call on the field stands. Morrison's on second. Here's Espinoza, who grounded out to first base the last time he was up. Showed bunt, and it squared him. Hit by a pitch. Israel Espinoza, and he takes his base. It's the third batter that has been hit by a pitch from the Riptide today. You see James Bishop talking with the home plate umpire. And maybe it hit the knob there, as it looks like Espinoza's heading back. Or no, they're just checking on his hand.
Yeah, I almost wasn't sure for a second if he was initially indicating that he wanted there to be a little bit of, not a warnings issue, but kind of like a, hey, like, let's make sure that wasn't. Obviously, there was no intention there right there from Colin Rhee in that moment, but, there was some frustration as well. And it appears it was based off of the fact that it was hitting the knob. That's probably more so what he was discussed, and that's the better result that we were hoping to see right there. We know James Bishop is a very nice guy, so makes perfect sense.
So after all of that, it's strike number one. That bat continues for Espinoza. Here's the 0-1 from Rhee. Bounced along the first base line, and it rolls foul. 0-2 count. It was a good second inning for Colin Rhee. He struck out two batters. Had to come in the first inning in relief of the starter. Barons scored 7 runs in the first, and that's how they're in front 7-0 here in the top of the third inning. Colin Rhee stares in. He's got a pitch he likes. Glove pinned towards his belt. The 0-2. Lined into the fence, or rather the net here at the Great Park, and it drops towards the on-deck circle. An 0-2 count.
Nice little play right there from Sawamura. Barehanded that one off of the net. I know I've made some barehanded plays in the outfield, but not as smooth as these players make it.
It's impressive. Not underestimating you or anything, but your ability to make these plays in the outfield during BP has been impressive all summer long. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off once again on the right side.
Don't worry, I've made some mistakes as well. There's some that I think I should have just been able to pick up barehanded that I've let roll underneath my hand. So I will say I've made some costly mistakes as well, but it is a lot tougher than it looks, and these guys make it.
Well, you've lost a glove. You're doing everything barehanded now, I noticed, in the second half of the summer. 0-2. Missed outside for a 1-2 count. Is that by choice? Did you lose your glove, or are you just not bringing it to the ballpark anymore?
So I had lost it, and then I actually found it, but then I had forgotten to bring it this past week, so that was on me.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count against Espinoza. Here's the pitch. 2 bounces to first base. Reyes has. He trots over to first, gets the out himself, advances Morrison at third base. There's 1 out.
Yeah, productive out right there nonetheless. He was a little bit late and kind of got jammed a little bit and just kind of dribbled it over to Reyes, but you obviously are now in a situation where you might consider bringing the infield in, and it appears the Riptide will.
A.J. Sawamura has been on twice today, a single, and he reached once via an error by the shortstop. A chance to extend that 7-run lead for the Barons here in the top of the third with 1 out for Sawamura. Pitch to the lefty. He takes a strike. 0-1. Sawamura has really been a good bat for the MLB Academy all summer long. He always has good ABs. He finds a way to get on via the walks, but like we've seen in this game, he can also get on via the hits as the 0-1 drops in for strike 2, 0-2. He steps out, and he's back in. Runner 90 feet from home, Bryce Morrison for the Barons. Sawamura trying to cash him in. Colin Ree looks for his third strikeout of the night. 0-2. It's called strike 3. Got the inside edge. And that is Colin Ree's third strikeout of the night and a big out number 2.
Yeah, we've seen the zone from John DeCesar expand a little bit on the outer halves as well, and Colin Ree placed that one perfectly. Had some great two-plane action on that slider that just clipped the outer half.
Brings up Mark Emmerman. Righty on righty. Pitch from Ree. First pitch swinging. 2 hops. Once again at first base. Alonso Reyes makes the play himself. Way to work around the double for Colin Ree. Bottom of 3 coming up next. Orange County down 7-0 in the CCL South Division Championship game. This half inning is brought to you by Marucci, the official outfitter of the OC Riptide. MLB Academy in front 7-0 against the OC Riptide. Here in the South Division Championship game, winner takes on the Walnut Creek Crawdads for the CCL Championship. As Rivera's first pitch to Dolan was outside for ball number 1. It's an uphill battle, Colin, for the Riptide, but it starts with putting together good at-bats, and that's what the Riptide are looking to do here, and it's a good start for Dolan, who's ahead 2-0.
Yeah, they've been able to take advantage of a couple times where Rivera hasn't been able to find the release point, but what he's done a good job of is battling back after facing a little bit of adversity. He's had good command in those situations.
2-0 from him. Clips the zone for a 2-1 count. Alex Dolan is a switch hitter. He's hitting righty against the lefty Rivera, who's looked good through 2 innings so far. 2-1. Fouled off by Dolan. Evens the count at 2-2. 4-game hit streak coming into today for Alex Dolan. He's got hits in 7 of his last 8 games. A guy the Riptide would love to have on, especially because you got the top of the order due up. One strikeout tonight for Daniel Rivera. His 2-2 is swung on and missed, and that's the second strikeout. One down here in the third.
And that's definitely the zone Rivera will try to keep attacking Nord's right-handed batters and make the Riptide sort of force them to go away from it, because he's been challenging the right-handed hitters with the heat on the outer half. He's gone high, he's gone middle, and he's also kind of dropped in that changeup to change the eye levels a little bit. You mentioned that was just the second punch-out, but he's also been throwing strikes. It's just those 2 walks really the only blemishes where he fell behind early.
Here's Navarro. Taps the first pitch into the backstop, 0-1. 7-game hit streak for Bradley Navarro. Talk about making an impact in his short time, just his 8th game played. He's a returner for the Riptide, was a huge piece of that 2025 Riptide team. In that 2025 summer, he had a 4-hit game, and that was against the Academy Barons. Also recorded a walk-off hit against the Barons once as well. That was on Father's Day. Looking for the Riptide's first hit of this game right now, though. 0-1. High pop-up behind home plate, and it drops out of play into the stands. No balls, 2 strikes against Navarro. Navarro was walked in the first the last time he came up. That was one of 2 walks like you just mentioned, Colin. 0-2 from Rivera. Down low, 1-2. .321 batting average for Navarro. Starting in right field today for Brian Evans. Riptide down 7-0. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. 1-2 pitch. Missed outside, levels the count at 2-2.
That was a very dangerous take right there. You know, Navarro's a very patient batter. He likes to work the count and really look for his pitch, even though he's shown some more aggression over the last week. But based on the zone that John DeCesar's called, I was surprised to not see him ring him up right there.
Navarro stays alive, leans back and forth in the right-handed batter's box. 2-2. Skyscraper of a pop-up to second base. Espinoza, the second baseman, tracks it down. That's 2 down in the 3rd.
And Rivera is just attacking the Riptide hitters at will right now. Really, the only hard contact was the fly out to center field off of the bat of Reyes, who's on deck right now. Really, other than that, it's been a lot of weak contact kind of into the ground, or they've kind of just been getting jammed and popping it straight up.
Brock Folds reached on a fielder's choice in the first. And he digs into the righty's box. Here's the pitch from Rivera. Missed outside for a 1-0 count. Folds the shortstop for the Riptide. He's a threat on the base paths if he's able to get on. Lots of speed, won't be afraid to take off, but he's trying to do right just that, get on right now, as the 1-0 was way inside for a 2-0 count. Hit .389 as a true freshman at Mount Sac this past season. He's hitting .286 with the Riptide this year. 2-0 to him. Down the middle, 2-1 count.
Yeah, and despite what you see on the scoreboard right there, little moments like that where you get ahead in the count and you look at a fastball over the heart of the plate. You know you want to see more pitches from Rivera, but you also kind of want to be able to attack hittable pitches like that.
And the 2-1 offering missed down and away for a 3-1 count. Daniel Rivera looking to avoid issuing his 3rd walk of the night. Lefty gets set, fires the 3-1. Inside for ball 4. Good at bat from Brock Folds. He's on with the walk.
Yeah, and that's really been the only issue for Rivera, is just somewhat with the consistency with the release point. But like I've mentioned before, he responds very well every single time. He's been able to get an out every single time after allowing that walk.
See if he can respond right here. This is Alonso Reyes, a lefty. So a tough battle here for Reyes, lefty on lefty against Rivera. Waves the wood bat around next to his blue helmet. Throw over to first, and Folds gets back standing up. We talked about the 14 steals this summer for Folds. He's on first.
Yeah, he's only been caught 4 times as well, so he's been very efficient when he has been over at first.
First pitch to Reyes. Fastball for a strike, 0-1. Well, Reyes, we talked about it on the Chasing the Rip Current podcast this week. He's a clutch hitter. He comes through for the Riptide. Right now, he's looking for their first hit of the game. trying to spark something for the Riptide, who are down by 7 runs. A toss over to first base, and Folds gets back standing up.
Yeah, another aspect for Reyes, too, is his veteran leadership. We know former Riptide member earlier this year, Alexander Umlin, his teammate at UCI, credited his leadership abilities.
He's hitless in his last 2 games entering today. 0-1. Missed high. 1-1 the count.
And in that last at-bat, mentioned that he was really the only one to kind of barrel up a ball. It doesn't have that much power to be able to drive the ball, especially at this ballpark. We know he can hit it out. He had the 4 homers this past year at UCI just down the road. It's a similar environment with the kind of weather and how the ball tracks, but it's so hard to hit one here that you almost just want to go for the gaps.
He takes the 1-1. It clipped the zone, and the count is 1-2. Well, the Riptide have had at least 1 base runner in every inning so far. Brock Folds is on first. He was walked by Rivera, who's looking for out number 3, trying to do it against Reyes. Glove set in front of the Navy jersey. A couple looks at first base, the 1-2. Bounces in, the count is 2-2. Riptide 26-17 coming into tonight. They secured that number 1 seed. Avoided having to play the wild card game, and the Barons on the other side were the number 3 seed. They had to travel to Conejo yesterday. They won that game and traveled to the Riptide today, and they're in front by 7 runs. So it's been a tough path in the CCL playoffs for them, but so far they've been able to overcome it. 2-2, rolled right back to the mound. It's gloved by the pitcher Rivera, goes to first base, and that's out number 3. Excellent work for Daniel Rivera through 3 innings of work. Top of the 4th coming up next. Riptide down 7-0 against the MLB Academy Barons. This half inning is brought to you by Richardson, the official headgear provider of the CCL. 7-0 lead for the MLB Academy in the CCL South Division Championship game, as Jason Dovillar leads off the Barons against Colin Ree, who's back out there for another inning. First pitch from Ree. Inside as Dovillar twisted out of the way. Count is 1-0. Well, Dovillar's the beer batter tonight, so if he strikes out, fans here at the ballpark can Get $1 off alcoholic beverages. Here's the 1-0. Miss low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. It's a solid crowd, though, that we have here at the Great Park. One of the biggest of the summer for the biggest game of the summer. 2-0. Slapped foul on the right side for a 2-1 count.
Yeah, obviously one of the most beautiful venues in the CCL as well. Another good shout-out would be up in the North Division at Sinsheimer Stadium. They pack that place out consistently. They average, of course, over 1,000 fans there. Being in that environment over the weekend was really fun, but being here at the Great Park as well, the home crowd that really came out tonight.
2-1 missed outside, and the count is 3-1. Colin Ree, who took over in the first, he's now pitching here in the 4th inning. Del Villar, the batter, popped one up to shortstop and reached via a fielder's choice. 3-1 offering, low and inside. That's ball 4. And that's a walk to Del Villar, who's on first.
Yeah, just not really a competitive AB right there. Del Villar didn't have to really take the bat off of his shoulders in that AB. Colin Ree kind of started him with a little bit of chin music and ended the last one in the dirt. When you throw kind of pitches in that zone, you're not really going to get batters to chase.
Brings up Nick Sanders, the right fielder. Righty on righty with no outs. In the top of the 4th, Barons up by 7 runs against the Riptide. Pitch from Ree. It's inside, and it caught a piece of the batter, Nick Sanders, who is in some visible pain as he heads to first base. That's the 3rd batter that has been hit by a pitch for the Barons today.
Yeah, we've talked about the lack of command really from the Riptide rotation. We mentioned the 2 walks and now the 3 hit by pitches. They also have 2 errors across their defensive efforts in the infield. It's just not been a pretty game for the Riptide, and when you do the little things kind of wrong and make your own little mistakes and kind of cost your own self those opportunities, it's a reason why teams like the Barons have been able to capitalize off of that as well.
So there's runners on first and second. Sanders on first, Villar's on second base for David Aguirre, who's got 2 hits in this game already. Trying to just stretch out the lead by as much as possible for the Barons. Ree's pitch inside, ball 1.
Yeah, and given the situation, the mentality should be the same for the Riptide pitchers. They just want to challenge hitters at this rate. You can't really avoid the free passes or the hit batters. You just have to attack the hitters in this situation. You're already down by 7 runs. You're in a position we're hoping not to be this early in the ballgame, but the last thing you want to do is give up miscues.
Here's the 1-0. Beautiful pitch. It dropped in for a 1-1 count. Austin Plasinski is getting warm in the bullpen for the Riptide. Most likely Colin Ree's last inning. He's got traffic on the base paths, though, with runners on first and second base. 1-1 drill to left field. Montgomery races in, dives, and makes the catch. Nicely done by the left fielder, Reed Montgomery, for a big out number 1.
Man, that ball was roped out there. You saw the single from Mark Emmerman back in the first inning. Kind of had a similar trajectory. That, of course, capped off that 7-run first inning, but that one dropped in front of Montgomery that time, and that one had just a little bit too much topspin on that. He did hit that ball very well, but unfortunately for the Barons, it went right to Reed Montgomery.
So there's 1 away, and here's Isaac Ocampo. A hit by pitch and a ground out today for him. Waves and misses through the first offering from Colin Ree, 0-1. Regular season series was tied at 3 games apiece between both of these teams, but this is the one that matters the most. And so far, the Barons have come to play. 7-0, top of the 4th. 0-1. Inside for ball number 1. Sanders is on first. Ovier is on second for the batter, Ocampo. 1-1 pitch. Drops in 1-2. You mentioned it. The mindset here for Colin Rhee is to just attack the pitcher, or the hitters rather, and find outs, give their bats a chance to just come up and try to overcome this 7-run deficit. It starts with recording the out here of Isaac Ocampo, and Colin Rhee misses the zone. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, and it kind of just started with some makeable plays, some that went against the Riptide. Sauer, of course, led the game off with a hard liner that went off Castro's glove. They rule it a hit. But then Mark Emmerman hits one over to Brock Folds weakly in the air. He kind of lets it drop in front of him, bobbles it. It's an error, and then the first two are on just like that. And from that point on, they just did not let back. And you kind of just want to keep attacking in this kind of a situation.
2-2 pitch. High bounce to shortstop. Folds has it on a high hop. Throws to first. It's high. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded here in the 4th inning with 1 out.
That ball was chopped incredibly high. Not much Folds can do right there. That one should be ruled a hit. Nonetheless, we'll see what they do, and they, of course, did rule it a single right there. You saw kind of the delay from Folds right there. He kind of couldn't get it quite out on the transfer, but how long it took, there wasn't really going to be much time to make a play on that anyway.
Brian Evans is out there. See if the Riptide will go to the bullpen here or not, and they indeed do so. Austin Plasinski's in the game for Orange County. We'll introduce you to him when we come back. Top of the 4th inning, 7-0 lead for the Barons. They've got the bases loaded with 1 out. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Great Park. 7-0 lead for the Academy Barons. They've got the bases loaded with 1 out for the righty Jackson Tyler, who's up. Austin Plasinski's the new pitcher in the game for Orange County. Trying to get out of the jam. Righty going to Cal Baptist on the mound for the Riptide. His first pitch is slapped to right field out of the reach of Navarro. It drops fair. Del Villar scores. Rounding third, headed for home is Sanders. The send for Ocampo as well. It's dug out of the corner. Throw home to the plate. Not in time. A bases clearing triple for Jackson Tyler. It's a 10-0 lead here in the 4th for the Barons.
If there was any doubt for the Riptide in this game, it got that much harder right there. Jackson Tyler did a terrific job of fighting that pitch on the kind of inner half of the plate and just drove it beautifully down the right field line. That's how you know he was using the bat head to extend out right there. Did a great job of getting those hands in and fighting it off beautifully down that line. And just like that, it's a double-digit lead.
All it took was one pitch for Jackson Tyler, and he's got the Barons up by by double digits. Swing and a miss from Israel or Bryce Morrison. Tongue twister there.
Yes, definitely try to say that 3 times fast.
2 hits in this game for Bryce Morrison. 0-1 for Plasinski is popped up. First base side. It drops into the stands and bounces around. And somebody just got a lucky souvenir. He was just sitting and the ball bounced right, quite literally in his lap. It's an 0-2 count, though, on Morrison. Runner on third is Tyler. And time called. Morrison is headed to USC in the fall. He's had a good summer with the Barons, 326 batting average. He's looking for his 7th RBI here. One away, the 0-2. Half swing, went around. The count is 0-2. It's now 5 multi-hit games on the summer for Bryce Morrison. And rather, that looked like it was strike 3, so Morrison is out. Brings up Israel Espinoza. Two outs, top of the 4th. 10-0 lead for the Barons. Here's the pitch from Plasinski. Missed inside for ball 1. Espinoza, 2 groundouts today for him. He's hitting .214 entering tonight against the Riptide. 1-0. Slap to first base, folds fields, shuffles, and fires over to first. That's out number 3, but 3 more runs added here in the 4th inning for the Academy Barons. And it was a bases-clearing triple for Jackson Tyler that has the Academy up 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. This half inning is brought to you by Fairmont Schools in San Juan Capistrano. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's a 10-0 lead for the Barons. And Rivera's back out there. His first pitch to the righty Castro was a ball for a 1-0 count. Lefty pitcher has been really impressive all night long as his 1-0 missed outside for ball 2. Riptide's largest come from behind win this summer was 5 runs. That was against the San Diego Waves. Right now they're down by 10. 2-0. Fouled back towards us, and the count is 2-1.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That was, of course, the 4th game of the season. It was their first Sunday game of the season against the Waves that they kind of just chipped away at a little bit, and then they, of course, got the big 3-run homer from Jarrett Sable to give them the lead. But that was half of the deficit that they're facing right now, and they are already running out of time, even though it's just the 4th inning.
Castro grounded out to third base in the first. 2-1. He takes high, and the count is 2-2. And if Mount Sac Castro is, he's going to UNLV. Riptide still searching for their first hit of this game. 3-1. In the zone 3-2. That's a testament to the pitching staff for the Academy Barons. We know how great Frankie Lopez was yesterday, a big reason why the Barons won against the Oaks. And so far, it's a good outing for Rivera as well. Has really shut down this Riptide lineup. 3-2 from him is called strike 3. Third strikeout of the night for Daniel Rivera, and that's out number 1 here of the 4th.
Yeah, Rivera has been everything you could ask for right now for Coach James Bishop's staff. And you mentioned that start from Frankie Lopez. Because he was able to eat all of those innings and really just go deep into games like he's done all season long and at Hope International this past season, it saves your arms going forward. You can use guys like Daniel Rivera, and he has just been everything you can ask for, like I mentioned.
Jarrett Sabo, one of 3 strikeout victims now to Rivera. He's up. And the lefty drills the baseball right towards the Barons dugout. It's well foul, 0-1.
Yeah, definitely a thing for Coach Bishop's squad. The longest outing that Rivera has had this season was 5 2/3 innings of work. He allowed 2 earned runs, had 3 walks and 3 Ks on 4 hits. That was on the 2nd against the Santa Barbara Foresters of this month. And you know what he's capable of doing, and he's working through batters very quickly. You almost wonder how long he'll let him go.
He hit a batter there. Jarrett Sabo takes one off the thigh, it looks like, and the count is, or rather, the runner's on first for the Riptide. See Sabo gingerly walking over to first base, and now he trots over.
Yeah, he definitely had to wear that one. And we were talking about some of the command issues. That was really the only pitch that he completely lost control of. It fell out of the hand way too early and just went right into the backside of Sable, kind of by the leg. And you still see him kind of running up the third base side and see if he's able to continue in this game. You know, he's probably just kind of stretching it out. And those ones kind of in the lower leg area, almost towards the thigh, those ones are big stingers. They hurt a lot at first. You really kind of just have to walk everything out until it almost feels numb.
Yeah, really nothing you can do in the moment right now. Jarrett Sabo just trying to walk the pain off, like Collins said. Umpires give him a moment to do so.
I, of course, really am underestimating how painful that really is. I mean, anything that was a fastball out of the hand of Rivera that he just wore straight to the leg. And regardless, even though if it doesn't hit a hard bone or anything, it hits more skin or you have more muscle, it's a little bit more flexible. It doesn't really matter. It's still going to leave a pretty big welt there. And it's hard, too, because that's really where he kind of relies on his mobility. And you know that he's a stolen base threat at times.
Sabo's all right. He takes his lead off of first, being held on there by Dovillar. 1 out, and here's Ian Nguyen, who takes a ball low and inside for a 1-0 count. Nguyen grounded out to the pitcher back in the 2nd inning. Ten to nothing the score. We're in the bottom of the 4th, 1-0. Miss low, 2 balls in, no strikes from Rivera. It's been a good summer for Rivera. He's limited opposing batters to just a 120 average. a 3-0 record, and he's done a good job tonight against the Riptide. 2-0. Drilled over the head of the second shortstop, Aguirre, in a left field. Racing around second, headed for third. Throw to third base, sliding in, feet first, Sable. See if that's a spark for the Riptide. Ian Nguyen delivers the first hit of the ball game for Orange County.
Well, if there ever was a batter for the Riptide to try to get things going, it would be Ian Nguyen right there. He came into this just 4 games played, but was 5 for 13 on the season with 4 RBIs already. Not only lined the first hit for the Riptide, but they get their first runners in scoring position.
It's a double for Ian Nguyen. Both runners are in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Orange County down by 10 runs. A chance for Matt Inako to drive in the first runs of the night for the Riptide. Pitch from Rivera was low and inside for a 1-0 count. And there looks like there's a pitcher just getting loose for the moment in the bullpen for the Barons. Going the other way, and it is foul from Akko. 1 ball, 1 strike. Maninako has had back-to-back really good games. We talked about that 2 for 5 day against the Blues on Sunday. On Saturday, he was 1 for 3 against the Saints. Travis Bergman's the pitcher getting warmed up for the Barons. Runners on second and third for Akko. And the 1-1 missed the zone. 2 balls and a strike. Akko, 160 batting average. He's got 1 RBI this year. Last time he was up in the second, he was walked. Two 1. Missed the zone. 3 balls and a strike, and the Riptide a chance to load up the bases here. You got Reed Montgomery in the on-deck circle, a guy who can do a lot of damage with the bat. 3-1, a take from Akko, a good one. Up and outside, ball 4, bases loaded for the Riptide after the walk.
Good patience right there from Madden Akko. It's a couple really close takes right there. He had really good vision right there, but Rivera was not getting really any help from home plate umpire John DeCesar. There was a couple borderline pitches in there, but we know that as far as the height up and down in the strike zone, he's been very consistent. He's had just a little bit more wiggle room on the outer half of the zones.
Mound visit here for the Barons. It's the shortstop Aguirre, the catcher Ocampo, and the pitcher Rivera. And a coach for the Barons out there.
Yeah, definitely just kind of wanting them to focus on their attack for the lefty and Reed Montgomery. We know he has hit the Barons very well, but the big thing for him is that he really likes to swing for the fences, and this is really a situation for the Riptide where you're just trying to get anything that you can get back here. Obviously, a home run would be terrific if that is able to cut into the deficit, but right now the focus for the Barons is just to try to attack the left-handed batter the way they have so far in this one.
Best opportunity that the Riptide have had all game. Bases juiced for the lefty, Reed Montgomery. 291 batting average, 2 homers, and 16 RBI on the year. Montgomery's hitting .545 against the Riptide the Barons this summer.
That would be impressive.
Yeah. First pitch to him, he takes outside, ball 1. Second summer with the Riptide, Montgomery was the team leader in RBI last year. He's come up for the Riptide in big spots all year long. Can he do it once again? 1-0. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and a strike against Montgomery. Akko on first, Nguyen on second, and Jarrett Sable's 90 feet from home. The 1-1 way outside, bangs off the backstop. Sable races home from third base, and the Riptide have their first run of the ball game. It's 10-1. Everybody moves up 1, and the Riptide catch a break.
It definitely alleviates some stress for Reed Montgomery. You still had the double play in order right there, so that wipes away any force play or any potential double play on the ground right there. So now the focus is just try to bring in that runner from third. If you're able to bring them both in, that's good for the Riptide. But right now, your focus is just trying to trim as much as you can.
2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Pitch. Drill to left field, rather right field, going deep, and it's well out of play. 2-2 the count against Montgomery.
There was another scorcher that he hit foul, not as far as the ones that he hit out at the academy, but did get a hold of that one and just got the barrel a little bit too out in front.
He steps out. He's back in the lefty's box. Count is 2-2 with 1 out. He's got Akko on second and Nguyen on third. 10-1 lead for the Barons. The pitch. Montgomery lifts a baseball in a left center, tracking back to shortstop. He can't get to it. It drops. Nguyen scores. Here comes Akko. He's in as well. 2 RBI, single for Reed Montgomery. And the Riptide continue to eat into the deficit. It's 10-3 Barons here in the bottom of the 4th.
There's a little bit of life for the Riptide right there. They're able to spot 3 back after giving up 3 on that bases clearing triple from Jackson Tyler in the top half. And that was a good job from Reed right there. Just extended the bat head out enough and poked it in towards the gap. And you know he can hit to all fields, but it's good to see him kind of just let the bat do the work and not try to swing for the fences.
Nicely done by Montgomery. And like you said, there's some life for the Riptide here in the bottom of the 4th. 3 runs have come in. Here's Alex Dolan, who taps the first pitch he sees back for an 0-1 count. Timeout called as that foul ball is retrieved. It's good teamwork there. Barons brought their own bat boy, and he tossed it to the Riptide's bat boy. Montgomery on first, 1 out. Here's the 0-1 to Dolan. Squared up, pulled it back. Pitch missed outside for a 1-1 count. .295 average for Dolan, the switch hitter, who's hitting right-handed against the lefty Rivera. Reed Montgomery on first after his 2 RBI single. And the 1-1 is flared back foul into the net, 1-2.
Yeah, the second time through the order, especially in the middle part of the order, the Riptide have started to see his fastball a lot better, and that's where they're starting to get a little bit more hard contact. They're starting to line the ball instead of getting on top of it or getting underneath it like they were through those first 3 innings.
Rivera, the 1-2. Caught the zone. It's called strike 3. Dolan strikes out for the second time tonight, and that's out number 2 of the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, tone-setting strikeout right there after the Riptide kind of rallied right there. Now you just need one more to kind of squeak through the inning and for Rivera to help get his staff another inning logged.
Here's Bradley Navarro looking for his first hit of this game. He's got a 7-game hit streak coming into tonight. 2 outs, Montgomery on first. Another switch hitter from the right side for the Riptide. And Rivera missed high. 1 ball, no strikes. Orange County entered this inning looking for their first hit of the game. They've found 2 here so far. It was a double from Nguyen, and Montgomery had a single. 1-0 to Navarro. He swings and misses for a 1-1 count. Second game against the Barons this summer for Navarro. He was 1 for 4 with a run scored and 2 RBI in the first meeting. 1-1. He stares and it drops in. 1-2 the count. Two outs, 1 ball, 2 strikes to count against Navarro. Rivera ready, his 1-2, missed high. And the count is 2-2. It's a start for the Riptide. They've scored 3 runs so far in the bottom of the 4th, but still a lot of work to be done. 10-3 the score, we're in the bottom of 4. Here's the 2-2. It's a take from Navarro. Appeal down at first, didn't go around, and the count is full.
A very close check swing down there. I almost initially thought that home plate umpire John DeCesar was going to call it a strike anyway, but that pitch did miss down a little bit low in the zone. It was kind of one of those 50-50 check swings that, at least from our vantage point, could have gone either way.
Navarro stays alive, and a big pitch coming up. 3-2 the count, 2 outs. Rivera kicks and deals. Montgomery took off. It doesn't matter. It's called strike 3. 5th strikeout of the night for Daniel Rivera. He gets out of the inning. Orange County, though, does score 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors, and leaves 1 runner left on. It's the top of the 5th coming up next from the Great Park. 10-3 the score. The Barons in front of the Riptide. This half inning is brought to you by Rome Beer Company. Top of the 5th inning, 10-3 ball game. Barons in front, and MLB's bats are back up. Inning starts off with A.J. Sawamura, the lefty. First pitch from Austin Plasinski. Missed outside for a 1-0 count. Well, the Riptide found their first hits and scored their first runs in the bottom of the 4th. It was 3 runs across for Orange County to cut into the deficit. That's where we are. 1-0 from Plasinski. Down and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. A.J. Sawamura's been on twice today, a single and an error. He's come around to score 1 of 10 runs for the Barons. Plasinski, the 2-0. Finds the zone, and it's a 2-1 count. Third pitcher utilized today for the Riptide, Austin Plasinski. He had to come in with the bases loaded in the last inning, was able to get out of the inning, and he's back out there here in the 5th. Two-one. Low and inside towards Sawamura. The count is 3 balls and a strike. Eight hits tonight for the Barons. Counts for 10 runs. The Riptide 2 hits for 3 runs. 3-1. Way outside, ball 4. A.J. Sawamura is aboard for the 3rd time tonight, this time via a walk.
Yeah, and the last thing the Riptide rotation wants to do is allow uncompetitive pitches like that. And you allow a very fast runner in Sawamura, of course, as well, to get on the base paths. And when it's really the difference between getting an out and a double with him, because you know the speed he possesses, is able to really just steal a base at will.
29 stolen bases for Sawamura on first base. This is Mark Emmerman, the righty, against the right-handed pitcher Plasinski. Sawamura takes off, pitch called a strike, throw down to second base, sliding head first in safely. Well, there you go, the speed of Sawamura, and he's on second base.
Yeah, got a good jump right there, and it was a really good throw down from Nguyen as well. It almost looked like the tag potentially could have beat right there, but it kicked off of the glove, so it made it irrelevant in the end.
Emmerman reached in the first twice via an error and a single. He's got a runner in scoring position, that's Sawamura. And the 0-1 to him, he lifts towards left center. It's down. Around third, getting the send Sawamura. And in a second base goes Emmerman, an RBI double to stretch out the lead. It's 11-3 Barons. Bounce back right after the Riptide scored 3 runs.
Yeah, that's exactly how you punch back right there. You eliminate any sort of momentum that the Riptide had, and did a great job. He absolutely barreled that one. The minute he hit it, you knew it was going to be all the way in the gap and all the way up into the wall like it was, and they just keep racking up the extra base hits. That's now 3.
Brings up Jason Del Villar. Fielder's choice and a walk today, and he also popped one up to shortstop for Del Villar. Pitch from Plasinski, low, ball 1. It's the 5th appearance of the summer for Plasinski. He started against this Barons team last week. Went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits and an earned run, as his 1-0 missed tie for ball 2. He walked 2 batters and also struck out 2. That was a big win for the Riptide to help them clinch the number 1 seed. Two-0 from Plasinski. Inside ball 3.
Yeah, you mentioned that start. That was his first of the season, of course, and the only blemish in that one was the solo shot that he gave up to Elijah Clayton in that game, and he was really consistent from there. Faced a little bit of traffic, but was able to work through it, but hasn't been the case so far here tonight. The Barons have seen him very well, especially with the fastball in the inner half of the plate.
His 3-0 finds the strike zone for a 3-1 count. And it's a fastball, curveball, slider, change up the pitch mix for Austin Plasinski. No outs, a 3-1 count with a runner on second for Del Villar. Pitch, drill to left. Rolls towards Reed Montgomery in left field. Stop sign put on at third for Emmerman. Runners on the corners for the Barons.
The really only reason that wasn't an RBI knock right there was just because of how hard that came off of the bat of Jason Del Villar. Don't know what the exact metrics were on that one, but that was more than a worm burn, and that was a scorcher. And just because of the speed it had, Emmerman kind of had to hold up just to make sure it got through the infield.
Looks like that'll be the day for Austin Plasinski. Brian Evans takes the baseball. Plasinski is done. Riptide will make another call to the bullpen. We'll introduce you to that new pitcher when we come back. It's 11-3 here in the top of the 5th inning. David O'Neill, the new pitcher in the game for the Riptide. He takes over for Austin Plasinski. Aiden Pham alongside Colin Costigan. Top of the 5th inning, Barons 11, Riptide 3. First batter that the righty O'Neill faces is Nick Sanders. Runners are on the corners. Del Villar's on first, Emmerman's on third base. Here's O'Neill's first pitch. It's taken by Sanders for strike 1. O'Neill's out of Azusa Pacific. He's currently in the portal. It's his 5th appearance of the summer for Orange County. Barons have already scored 1 run here in the 5th. That was Sawamura, who came around to score. O'Neill the 0-1. Yanked down and outside, 1-1. Sanders looking for his first hit of the day, but he's been on twice via a walk and a hit by pitch. He's also struck out once. No outs, so 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Slapped over the press box, foul, and the count is 1-2. O'Neill last pitched against the Saints. That was on Saturday. He went 2 innings, gave up a hit, and struck out 1. No runs. A 1.93 ERA in 4 2/3 innings pitched this year for David O'Neill. Here's his 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Walnut Creek Crawdads are certainly keeping an eye on this game to find out who they're going to face this weekend in the CCL Championship Series. Right now, it's the Barons in front 11-3 against the Riptide. 2-2. Low and outside once again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A full count against Sanders.
Yeah, you mentioned that 5-1 victory for the Crawdads. A big congratulations to them for making it to the championship series. We know that had to feel good after they were eliminated by that very Stompers team last season, so they got their payback this year.
Runners on the corners with nobody out. 3-2. Outside for ball number 4, and the bases are loaded once again here for the Barons tonight. Second walk that Sanders has drawn as well. This is David Aguirre. 2 hits and a line out to left field, but Reed Montgomery made a spectacular play on that play. Bases loaded for Aguirre in an 11-3 ball game, top of the 5th. Fouled off the first pitch into the net, 0-1. Well, David O'Neill, the pitcher here, he started out at UC Riverside, spent 2 seasons there. Went to Azusa Pacific and now looking for his next school. A second half of the summer guy with the Riptide. His 0-1. Catches the zone 0-2. It's the CCL South Division Championship game. Winner takes on the Crawdads. 0-2. Taken for a called third strike. Way to bounce back for David O'Neill. That's out number 1.
Yeah, he froze David Aguirre right there. He was definitely not expecting a front door slider that kind of popped out of the hand from David O'Neill. But like you said, it was a good bounce back effort just to try to see 1 out finally go up on the board.
There's Isaac Ocampo. A hit by pitch. A single, and he grounded out to shortstop. Bases loaded, 1 out. Swing and a miss from Ocampo for strike 1. Well, you really credit this Barons team They've given the Riptide trouble all summer long, but this is by far one of the best outings that the Barons have had against Orange County this summer. 7 runs in the first inning as the 0-1 miss low for a 1-1 count. 7 runs in the first, and they came out on fire, and that's a big reason why they're ahead 11-3 here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it as well. I know we were alluding to the point that these two teams have faced each other very well this season. That's why it was a 3-3 split. 3 of the games were decided by 1 run, and then even their last meeting that was a 6-2 Riptide victory, it was 3-2 in that game going into the 9th.
1-1, hack and a miss, 1-2. Yeah, the games between these two teams have ended in a variety of different ways. You got walk-off wins, you got blowouts, back and forth ball games. It's been fun watching these two teams square off all summer. Bases juiced, 1 out, 1-2. Outside levels the count at 2-2.
Yeah, and the threat that the Barons possess is that they play very well in close games. All 3 of their wins against the Riptide in the regular season were 1-run victories. They had the 2 5-4 or one of them was a come-from-behind victory in 3 of those games. And they also had the 3-2 victory as well earlier on in the season.
2-2, swing and a miss from Ocampo. Back-to-back Ks for David O'Neill. And that's 2 outs here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, just a good challenge pitch right there. In this kind of a situation, the worst that you can fear for the Riptide is that they're just able to get more runs to a very large lead. And at this rate, you just want to be able to attack the hitters like he's doing right now and just force them to put the ball in play.
Jackson Tyler, the batter, the righty. Pitch from O'Neill. In the zone for strike 1. A lot of credit to James Bishop. He's been with the team for a while. First season taking over as head coach, and boy, has he done a really good job. O'Neill's 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Barons are 19-16, and barring a disaster in this ball game, it's looking like they're heading up to the north to face the Walnut Creek Crawdads in the CCL Championship Series. But the Riptide want to have something to say about that, as O'Neill's 0-2 just missed outside for a 1-2 count.
Yeah, a very close pitch right there, but you're still ahead in the count 1-2 right now. And David O'Neill, the score is sort of irrelevant in the moment. You just want to picture it as like a 1-0 or a scoreless ball game and just try to attack that same mentality if it was in that situation.
2 outs, 1-2. Lined in a right field. That'll score a couple runs. Rather just one. Emmerman scores. Stop sign put on at third for Del Villar. Another hard hit ball. And the bats are on fire here tonight for the Barons. 11 hits, now 12 runs. And it's a 9-run lead in the top of the 5th.
How about the night for Jackson Tyler? Talked about the recent Glendale College commit. He has put on a show here. You had that bases clearing triple in the 4th to kind of really open up the game even further. And then even though the Riptide were able to come back, it's a big reason why the Riptide had some of their momentum killed going into this. Rallied with 2 outs right there. And even though he didn't hit it the hardest, he hit it where the Riptide weren't, simply just inside out at it beautifully towards the right field.
Riptide just looking to find out number 3. Bases still loaded for Bryce Morrison, who's got 2 hits in this game. Righty on righty. First pitch. High ball 1. Orange County is the number 1 seed for the first time in franchise history. The Riptide are 2-3 in their last 5 playoff games. The last one was right here last summer against the Arroyo Seco Saints. And the Riptide lost that game to get eliminated. 1-0 from O'Neill, missed. 2 balls, no strikes. Tyler on first, Sanders on second. Del Villar 90 feet from home. 2-0. Golf towards right field, down. Here comes Del Villar, the send for Sanders. It's a 2 RBI knock for Bryce Morrison to add 2 more. And the lead is 14-3 here in the top of the fifth for the Barons.
The Barons have done everything right in this game like we've talked about, but those last two at-bats from Tyler and Morrison, the ability to go the other way with a pitch, and when it looked like they were going to, not say squander a scoring opportunity with the amount of runs that they've put up, but let a bases-loaded, no-out situation kind of get away from them and want to really just make it that much more difficult. But those two at-bats were a perfect example of why they've been doing so well tonight. They've been doing the little things right and even really getting those hard pitches into the outfield.
Israel Espinoza takes strike one. The Barons scored 7 runs in the first. They scored 3 in the fourth, and so far it's been 4 runs in the fifth. Just some big innings for the MLB Academy. 0-1. Lined into the net, 0-2. Espinoza, the 9th batter that has come up in this inning for the Barons. 4 hits so far. Like we mentioned, 4 runs have come across. 0-2. Low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count against Espinoza. He's 0 for 3. He's the only guy in the lineup today for the Barons that hasn't gotten on. So trying to join the party, Espinoza. He stays alive, caught a piece of the baseball as it goes back for a 1-2 count.
Yeah, despite him not being on as well, though, he did have that sac bunt RBI in the first inning to really just keep the line moving. And when you're able to do things like that, even if you yourself aren't having the best night when you have an entire offensive onslaught, there's always ways that you can help your team.
1-2 inside from O'Neill. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners on the corners. Morrison's on first, and Jackson Tyler's on third base. 2 outs, top of the 5th inning. 14-3 the lead for MLB Academy. 2-2. Bounces in the dirt. It took a bang off the backstop. Throw to the plate. It's safe. Jackson Tyler scores. It's 15-3 MLB Academy, but it took a hard bounce off the backstop and almost worked out for the Riptide to get Tyler out at home, but he's safe, and it is now a 12-run lead.
Yeah, you could sense the frustration from David O'Neill right there. Thought he could have tagged him out, but it was the correct call. He just barely slid in safely right there.
Morrison headed to second. So he's in scoring position for Espinoza. 3-2. Down and outside, that's ball 4. Espinoza's on with the walk. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, and here comes Brian Evans. It's just been a frustrating night for the Riptide. And the Riptide are going to make a call to the bullpen once again. That's the day for David O'Neill. We're headed towards we're continuing the top of the 5th inning. There's still 2 outs, and the bases have Espinoza on first, Morrison's on second. Barons bats are on fire. 12 hits for 15 runs, and they're not done just yet. Sean York, the new pitcher, will step aside as he gets warmed up. 15-3 the lead for the Barons. We're still in the top of the 5th. Sean York, the new pitcher in the game for the Riptide. Here's AJ Sawamura for the second time in this 5th inning. Pitch from York is outside for ball 1. So far in this inning, it's been 4 hits, 5 runs, and there's 2 outs, and the runners are on first and second for the Barons. Morrison's on second, Espinosa's on first for AJ Sawamura, who was walked to begin this inning. 1-0. Inside catches the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean York is the 5th pitcher the Riptide have put out there tonight. Here's 1-1. Finds the strike zone 1-2. Recently committed to Southeast Missouri State. He's making his 11th appearance of the summer. Right now his job is to just find the 3rd out of this top of the 5th inning. $14 Ks this summer for York. His 1-2. Skips in, and the count is 2-2. Sawamura's had himself a really good night. He's got a hit. He's reached via an error. He's got a stolen base, or rather 2 stolen bases. He's also been walked. He's done a little bit of everything tonight for the Barons. Third time facing the Barons this summer for Sean York. And foul tip into the glove of Nguyen. That ends the top of the 5th inning. 5 runs across for the Barons. It's 15 Academy, Orange County 3, as we're headed towards the bottom of the 5th inning. Colin Costigan takes us the rest of the way on play-by-play.
This bottom of the 5th inning is brought to you by Sign Design. It has been all Barons here tonight in the CCL South Championship game. They lead it 15-3. The new arm, the tall lefty, and Travis Bergman fires the first one to Brock Folds. High and away, it's a 1-0 count. Heart of the order for the Riptide. Brock Folds, the righty. Lonzo Reyes, the lefty, on deck. And Ryan Castro, the other righty, in the hole. The tall, lanky lefty fires the 1-0, and that's inside. It's a 2-0 count. For Bergman, this is going to be his 10th appearance this summer. Has logged 11 1/3 innings of work, a 5.56 ERA with 7 walks to 19 punchouts. 1-1, that one is lined straight back, and it is a foul ball. The last outing that he had, he has faced the Riptide 4 times this season, pitched the 9th inning on the 24th, struggled in that one, gave up the 3 runs. 2 of them were earned, of course. But the previous 3 outings, he was terrific against the Riptide. It was 4 innings, just 2 hits and an earned run, and 5 Ks with a pair of walks. And that one is hit right to him. He picks it up himself and fires a strike in time over at first base. Well, pitchers are definitely athletes too, and he used all of his frame right there to grab that ball.
A really impressive play from Travis Bergman. It was a high hop. He leaps up, gloves it, and like you mentioned, Colin delivers a laser over to first base. Nice start from Bergman.
The final line, by the way, for the lefty starter Daniel Rivera, 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, 4 walks, and 5 punchouts, 3 of them looking.
Dennis Fitzpatrick has entered the game for the Riptide here.
He will take over for Lonzo Reyes. Bergman fires the first one. That's high and just missed for a ball. Dennis Fitzpatrick, this will be game number 18, the recent CSU San Marcos commit. Big congrats to him. The 1-0, that one is hit hard and deep over toward left, but right at the glove of Jackson Tyler. Quickly 2 away here for Bergman in the bottom of the 5th.
A long out number 2 there. Dennis Fitzpatrick sent to deep to left, tracked down by Tyler. It's a good start for the pitcher so far.
That'll now bring up the UNLV commit and third baseman for the Riptide tonight. Number 40 in Ryan Castro. He's officially 0 for 2, grounded out to third and struck out looking back in the 4th. Bergman trying to get a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th after his team put up a 5 spot in the 5th. That one missed inside. It's a 1-0 count. Mentioned for Bergman, those 3 outings against the Riptide before his last one on the 24th. It was just the 1 earned run and 4 innings of work, 2 hits, 5 punchouts, and 2 walks. The 1-0 is inside. It's a 2-0 count. Of course, was with Santa Ana College this past season. His rising sophomore, rather. Had a flat 3 ERA and 24 innings of work. Has that fastball, changeup, curveball mix, and there was a fastball on the outer half. It's a 2-1 count.
That was a really good start for Daniel Rivera. Bergman's the second pitcher in the game. See if the Riptide can try to find some offense against him.
It's a 2-1 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th and a gargantuan 15-3 lead for the Barons. That 2-1 missed high, a 3-1 count. What a story this is for this Barons squad. We mentioned it's their first time in a decade being in the playoffs. They have made every moment count. 3-1 on the way. That one missed outside for ball 4. So Castro does work a 2-out walk to try to give the Riptide some hope here in the bottom half.
In a game like this, Colin, it's about the small wins for the Riptide. That's a win for Ryan Castro. He's on with 2 outs. Yeah, you mentioned it. Barons are playing some of their best baseball at the right time and when it really matters.
That'll now bring up Jarrett Sable, who struck out swinging in the 2nd, was hit in the leg in the 4th, and would come around to score. That was the first of 3 runs for the Riptide in the bottom half. Faces another lefty. There's a meeting on the mound right now. So they're going to send Travis Curry, it looks like, to pinch run for Ryan Castro over at first base. Trying to utilize as many players as he can, given the situation that this game has sort of unfolded into. Travis Curry is just 3 for 5 on stolen base attempts this season. And he does have that speed. See if they try to send him. Obviously, is facing right at Bergman, the lefty, who can stare him down at first. That slider kind of popped out of the hand a little early. It missed in and low. I'd say 1-0 count. Rather, that was the changeup out of his hand. Well, you mentioned the history for the Barons. The 1-0, that one is down in the dirt. It's a 2-0 count. They were 4-10 on the road in the regular season, so they had struggled away from home. So this is obviously a good sign to see. We know that they had the 3-2 victory against the Riptide on Father's Day this year, sort of a redemption after they got walked off. And Jarrett Sable got jammed, and that one hit him in the hand. He is hit by pitch for a second time. Riptide will have 2 on and 2 out still here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, another painful way to get on for Jarrett Sable. The first one was off the back of his leg, and this one hits him in the hands. Riptide, though, have runners on first and second.
That'll now bring up nearly the entire offense for the Riptide and Ian Nguyen. He had that double back in the 4th inning. Brought in Jarrett Sable. He entered in this one 5 for 13 through 4 games with 4 RBIs. Just continuing to tally up the hits for the Riptide when called upon. Has a chance to add on another here. That one is in there for a called strike on the outer half. A good first offering. Rather, it was the double that moved Sable over to third before he came in on that wild pitch. Here's the 0-1. That one is hit on the ground over towards short. Aguirre will take it himself for the final out in the bottom of the 5th. The Riptide squander a scoring opportunity. It is still a 15-3 Barons lead. We'll head to the top of the 6th. This top of the 6th inning is brought to you by the Russell Legal Group. It's a 15-3 Barons lead here in the top of the 6th. John York will be back out for his first full inning of work. That one is lined straight back. Faces the heart of the order, the righty Mark Emmerman at the dish. The other 2 righties, Jason Delviar on deck and Nick Sanders in the hole. Mark Emmerman reached on an error back in the first, was credited with the RBI, and later came around to score the second of 7 runs in that inning and lines that one straight back. Had an RBI base hit later on in the same inning, and then also had that RBI double in the 5th. So credit him with 3 RBIs. He's been aboard 3 out of the 4 times he's come up to the plate. Already his 5th plate appearance here in just the 6th inning. 0-2 count. Waits. That one is down low and away. It's a 1-2 count. Mentioned the road struggles for this team. It was a trend this season. 2016 was the last time they made the playoffs. They actually went 11-6 on the road that year. But if you even take away the road record from this season, they had still gone just 20 for 61 in the previous 5 seasons. So what they've been able to do here today has been absolutely terrific. Brock Folds rolled it on the ground over toward him off the bat of Emmerman, and a great pick by Madden Akko, who's now shifted over towards first base. Quickly one out here in the top of the 6th. A couple defensive changes for you. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, or Dennis Fitzpatrick, excuse me, that is an all-time clip right there. Dennis Fitzpatrick, no, not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. He is at second base. Madden Akko is over at first, and Travis Curry is over at third.
Yeah, Brian Evans emptying the bench here in a 15-3 ball game. Good play, like you said, at first base by Akko to secure out number 1.
The only starter in the infield that remains in his current position that he came into the game with is Brock Folds at short. That first one now is yanked in towards the backstop to to Jason Delviar. It's a 1-0 count. Jason Delviar is officially 1 for 3 in this game. Reached on a fielder's choice the second time he came up in the first after popping out to be the first out in that inning. Walked in the 4th and then had a base hit and came around to score one of the 5 runs in the 5th. That for 1-0 was missed inside, a 2-0 count.
Everyone in this lineup today has contributed for the Barons. They've done their job of just keeping the line going, and that's why they're up by 12 runs.
The 2-0, and that one scoots inside, nearly caught the inner half, but kind of fell out at the bottom right there with the slider. It's a 3-0 count. Jason Delviar digs back in, waits for the 3-0 from Sean York. That one's fired, and that is high for ball 4. An easy 4-pitch walk for Jason Delviar, his second time walking here tonight and his 4th time aboard in 5 plate appearances. So far for James Bishop and his staff, every single person in the starting lineup has at least reached base.
That's the 6th walk of the night issued by the Riptide pitching staff. Last time these two teams met up last Friday, just 3 walks from the Riptide pitchers.
That now brings up Nick Sanders. He was walked twice, scored both times when he did so. Also was hit by a pitch in the 4th, but is officially 0 for 1 with that punch-out looking he had in the 2nd. Looks at that one for a 1-0 count. Jason Delviar over at first has a standard lead. Kind of just standing up straight, not a stolen base threat in this situation. Here's the 1-0, and that one is hit way up into the air, in towards shallow left field. Folds shifted all the way over, now backpedals and puts it away for his second out. Had to really manage a lot, fighting the lights over there in left center, but there's now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
First for Folds to work all the way back there. Had a maneuver around, made the late adjustment, ends up making the catch. Those are balls that are tough to track down here at the Great Park. The lights are bright. We've seen a couple times this summer where the infielders lose it, but no problem there for Brock Folds.
Now brings up David Aguirre, who is 2 for 4 with a pair of base hits in this one. Struck out looking last time up back in the 5th. Looks at that one. A called strike on the outer half. Aguirre came into this one hitting 6 for 20 with 5 RBIs, a double, and a walk in those previous 5 games against the Riptide. He, of course, had the walk-off RBI knock on the 25th. That was a game in which they were down 2-0 and then 4-1 at one point. Before coming back to win that one 5-4. A 0-1 was swinging for the fences right there. Goes down 0-2. Oh and 2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. The Riptide pitching staff trying to get their first scoreless top frame since the third. York delivers the 0-2, but that is yanked. Not a competitive 0-2 pitch. It's a 1-2 count.
Yeah, a little bit of command issues in this inning for Sean York. So a favorable count, though. 1 ball and 2 strikes for him.
York casually checks back over at first. The wide stance, the leg kick fires the 1-2 and got David Aguirre to chase one in the dirt for the third out right here as Ian Nguyen will place the tag. The Riptide have a scoreless top of the 6th inning, but still trail 15-3. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th here at the Orange County Great Park for the final time this season. And that is going to be Madden Acco leading it off here to start the bottom of the 6th. First one from Travis Bergman is high. It's a 1-0 count. Bottom of the order due up for the Riptide, 7, 8, and 9. The righty Acco followed by the lefty Reed Montgomery on deck and the switch hitter Alex Dolan in the hole. Rather, it appears they have Zach Woodson, the lefty, on deck, and he'll pinch hit for Reed Montgomery as Acco slaps that one in toward right field. Will drop in front of Sanders for a leadoff base hit.
What a game from Madden Acco, Colin. 2 walks and now his first hit. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast the slow start and tough start to the summer for him, but he's woken up with a bat in the past couple of games, so it's a good end to the summer for him.
He's now officially 5 for 26 on the season after he was just 1 for his first 20. Been seeing the ball very well. That nets him a base hit here in the bottom of the 6th. Zach Woodson now steps up for the first time here tonight in the pinch hitter spot. Bergman has his sign, checks back over at first, and fires that one in there for a strike. For Zach Woodson, he, of course, also pinch hit in the 9th inning out on slow on Sunday. That was for Sable. He got a base hit and then was later a run scored. That one is lined way back and out of play. It's an 0-2 count.
You think about where Zach Woodson was at one point this summer, though, Colin. He was hitting 100. It was a tough summer for him, but he's been able to get that batting average up, and he's been productive in multiple ways for the Riptide.
Down in the count 0-2, instead rolls that one on the ground. That is hit over towards Aguirre. Fires deep in the hole. The throw is in time over at first base. A strong arm over there from the shortstop spot, and David Aguirre gets the first out here. That does allow Madden Acco to move into scoring position.
Close play at first base there. And great throw from Aguirre, just beats out Zach Woodson, and that's one away.
And now brings up Trajan Rogowski, who is going to be pinch hitting for Alex Dolan here in the bottom of the 6th. For Trajan, it's been a really good last couple of games. Reached in 5 of his last 6 ABs, including a 2-for-4 effort with a walk and run scored on Sunday at Slow. That one is on the inner half. It's a 0-1 count. He was in the midst of a 2-for-19 stretch before entering that final weekend where he had punched out 8 times. And really it was just kind of a frustrating period where he was really going hard in the cages. And it's paid off for him now, and what could potentially be his final game of the summer. The 0-1 is inside 1-1 before he makes that long trip out to UConn.
I just feel good about a guy like Trajan Rogowski. So happy for his success. He's such a great guy, and he gets the opportunity to play D1 baseball.
That 1-1 missed high. It's a 2-1 count. Barons still have their 15-3 lead. It's the largest lead, or rather the largest deficit the Riptide have had this summer. That 2-1 is chopped foul. It's a 2-2 count. They, of course, have lost by as many as 11. That was against the Conejo Oaks out on the road. It was a 13-2 ball game in which the Riptide lost. That was, of course, back on June 27th out at Conejo, one of the 4 losses out there. Mentioned the Barons team that had struggled on the road. Obviously not been the case here tonight. The Riptide also had struggled on the road themselves. They were 5-9 on the road this season. Of course, 21-8 here at the Great Park. The 2-2 inside outs that one, but just foul down the first, or rather, yes, the first base line. Still a 2-2 count.
You mentioned the road struggles for the Barons. Riptide, they're 21-8 at home this summer, so this is a place that Orange County throughout the summer has had a lot of success in, but just a different story here tonight.
And it's been a different story for this Barons squad in just their second ever time in the playoffs. Here's the 2-2, and that one is fouled straight back. I mentioned that it's been since 2016, and they actually lost in the wild card round. It was a 6-5 loss to the Neptune Beach Pearl, who are no longer in the CCL. That was back on July 30th of 2016, nearly a decade ago today, just one day off. It was a game in which they actually led 5-1 going into the bottom of the 7th, but they gave up 5 runs in the bottom half of that inning and ended up losing the game. So they have come back this season, especially in the playoffs, not even just with that on their mind for the coaching staff, but have played very determined baseball. 2-2, a good AB, continues on for Rogowski. But really the credit you have to think about, not just the team, but who's at the helm. We mentioned James Bishop. He has been with this organization for 18 years, steps into the manager role this year, and look what he's been able to produce. 2-2 count with Bergman still on the mound. The tall lefty fires, and Rogowski will live to see another pitch.
And just to wrap up on James Bishop, you mentioned it, Colin, and you're exactly right. This is a Barons team that has kind of struggled in the CCL South these past couple of seasons, but James Bishop has taken over, and you can see the fruits of the labor right now. He's done an excellent job, and that's why they're in front by 12 in the CCL South Division Championship.
It's been a sweet ride for his team this season. And for James Bishop, of course, he was a really good player himself. He was, of course, drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 5th round of the 1981 MLB June Amateur Draft. He was a Linwood High School product, where he's also been the head coach there for the last 32 years. He's split that time between this and the Barons during the summer. In his playing days, he actually spent 11 seasons in the minors, and then actually spent the last 2 years in 1994 and 1995 with the Jungo Bears out in the Chinese Professional Baseball League. That was his foreign experience with the sport. But he spent his first 6 seasons in the minors with the Toronto Blue Jays system. That 2-2 is fought out in towards right field. Will that ball stay fair? It does. Rounding third and coming home to score is Madden Akko, and Rogowski is flying around second, going for third, has a stand-up triple. Trajan Rogowski trying to give the Riptide some life here in the bottom of the 6th.
How about that from Trajan Rogowski? Long at bat, sends it fair down the right field line, and the speed of Trajan Rogowski. You just saw him flying around the base paths. It's a triple for him. And the Riptide have a little bit of something to celebrate here in the bottom of the 6th.
Make that 6 times in his last 7 plate appearances in which he has reached. He's had a terrific last 2.5 games. Now the first one from Navarro, he cuts on and misses at that one. Interestingly enough, you mentioned that was his 24th hit of the season, but his first triple and just his 4th extra base hit. Had 20 singles, 3 doubles prior to that. Now brings up the Bradley Navarro, the top of the order. The 0-1 missed high. It's a 1-1 count. Albeit still a double-digit deficit. Now officially matches the longest one that they've had this season. That one is pulled hard through the left side, and that will be a base hit. Trajan Rogowski can walk home, and the Riptide have spotted 2 to make it a 15-5 game here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, Orange County is fighting to the very end. It's been a frustrating ball game, but Brian Evans has to be happy with what he's seen here in the 6th inning. You got Trajan Rogowski who delivered. Bradley Navarro finds a hit. And with 1 out, here comes Brock Folds.
Bergman fires, and that one is rolled over towards second on a high chopper. A 4-6. And not going to turn the double play right there. Heck of an effort that started from Israel Espinoza. But they do get the force out, and Brock Folds is aboard here on the force out.
Ball was just bounced right back up the middle. Chris Maher, the umpire, credit him. He dodged out of the way very quickly and just unable to turn 2 there. But you get the lead base runner out, and there's 2 away.
That brings up Dennis Fitzpatrick, who pinch hit back in the 5th inning. For Lonzo Reyes, he hit one hard over toward left field, over towards Jackson Tyler, but hit it right at him. This time he hits it right on the ground to Espinoza, who picks it up and fires for the sure force out over at second. The Riptide do get 2 runs back, but they still trail double digits. It's 15-5 going into the 7th. We move to the latter third of this one. It's a 15-5 Barons lead over the Orange County Riptide. The new arm in for the Riptide is the right-hander number 23, Dylan Nieto, facing 6, 7, and 8, starting with the catcher, Isaac Ocampo. Gets underneath that one, skies it in towards foul territory. Trying to catch it is Nate Pone, who does so just up in front of the fence. The newly inserted Nate Pone behind the dish quickly gets one out here in the top of the 7th.
Well, Nate Pone, the catcher, has been impressive throughout the summer with his defensive playmaking ability at catcher. Able to make the catch there for out number 1. So some changes for Brian Evans. You also got Zach Woodson out there in right field.
First one to Jackson Tyler is in there for a called strike. Well, for Nieto, it's just a big sigh of relief to see that first out go up on the scoreboard. Tell you a little bit more after this 0-1 offering to Jackson Tyler. A big cut and a miss, and fouled it rather. It's an 0-2 count. He's, of course, 2 for 3 in this one with a whopping 5 RBIs. Of course, have some more defensive changes. Hunter Harrington out in left field and Trajan Rogowski in center. Dylan Nieto ahead 0-2 to Jackson Tyler, who has a third of their RBIs in this one. Fires the 1-2 and blows the express right by him. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. It's the second time Jackson Tyler's gone down by way of the K.
Well, Dylan Nieto, you know the velos there. It's been a tough 2 outings for him. The Blues game, probably one that just was frustrating for him. 6 runs given up in an inning and 2/3, but good bounce back here. Way to get these first 2 outs.
Now trying to get Bryce Morrison out for a 1-2-3 7th. And throws a slider on the inner half, front doors him for strike 1. You mentioned the 6 earned runs in the inning and 2/3. It was on 6 hits, 1 walk, and 2 Ks in a wild pitch. But the bulk of that damage was their 2-out rally in the 6th. That one is cut on and missed, 0-2. They had a 2-out, 5-run rally in that inning that eventually gave him a 6-5 lead. He gave up 5 consecutive base runners and left Austin Kirkwood with a runner on first and 2 outs in that one. And one of those runners scored, kind of wrap up that inning. And this one's poked through the right side for Bryce Morrison, who has reached in 4 of his 5 plate appearances. It is a 4-hit day for Bryce Morrison with now a triad of base hits and a double.
Well, he was hitting .326 entering today. You mentioned the 4 hits in this game. He's going to USC. The Trojans are getting a good one.
That brings up the bottom of the order in Israel Espinoza. It's officially 0 for 2 in this one with an RBI. Worked a walk back in the 5th. Looks at that one for a strike on the outer half. 0-1 count. Bryce Morrison over at first. 0-1 from Nieto. That one is hit on the ground off the glove of Nieto. Will pick it up himself and toss it over to Madden Acco to first. A scoreless frame here in the top of the 7th for Dylan Nieto. The Riptide and the OC Great Park crowd will stretch here for the 7th inning stretch. They are still down 10. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here at the Orange County Great Park and what will be the final game played here in the 2026 season. This is the CCL South Division Championship that has been all Barons here. 15-5 they lead. First one to Travis Curry, missed high, a 1-0 count. Curry, of course, took over at third base in the top of the 7th inning for Ryan Castro, and he's now at the plate for the first time tonight. Cuts and misses on a foul tip right there. It's a 1-1 count. One count now. That one is inside. It's a 2-1 count. For Travis Curry, this will be his 24th game with the Riptide this season. Is hitting just a .197, 8 RBIs. Be his first game since the 22nd on Wednesday last week at Arroyo Seco. 2-1, missed outside. It's a 3-1 count. Been struggling at the dish, but the big thing about him is his high IQ defense. In this situation, slotted in just to try to give the Riptide some momentum. 3-1, that one missed high and away for ball 4. Well, he begins the bottom of the 7th for the Riptide with a walk, and that'll be their 6th of the ball game as a team.
Nicely done from Travis Curry. You mentioned his versatility and defense. He's played at second, third, and short. So he's been a big piece of this Riptide team all summer long. Nice to see him get on here in what could potentially be the final game of the summer.
Tatum Marsh now pinch hits for Jarrett Sable, who is DHing, so he will not take the field tonight. First one from Bergman is yanked outside. It's a 1-0 count. Bergman now in his 3rd inning of work. Travis Curry over at first. The 1-0 missed outside. It's a 2-0 count. 2-0 now to the pinch hitter, Tatum Marsh. Awaits for that one from Bergman. It is in there for a strike. It's a 2-1 count to Tatum Marsh, who is now hitting .264 through 21 games. Was 0 for 2 with a pair of walks on Sunday at Slow. Was pinch hit by Pone in the 9th. 2-1 count. That one is in there on the outer half. A good fastball from Bergman to even it up 2-2.
Well, Marsh was a guy that kind of struggled at one point this summer. He was hitting .154, but in the month of July, a .340 batting average. So what a turnaround.
The 2-2, he lines that one straight back into the net. It's still a 2-2 count. Lives to see another pitch. He, of course, had a 5-game hit streak as well, to your point about the .340 batting average. It was snapped after his 0 for 2 effort on Sunday, but was still able to get on with a pair of walks and hits that one in towards right field for a base hit. First 2 are aboard for the Riptide here in the bottom of the 7th as Curry moves up to 2nd.
Well, it's been a really good second half of the summer for Tatum Marsh. And right there, just sends it in a right field, gets the base hit. And the Riptide, with no outs, have runners on first and second.
Now, Nate Pone, who took over for Ian Nguyen behind the dish in the top of the 7th, is now pinch hitting here in the bottom half. Nate Pone, this, regardless of the results of this one, would be his last game with the Riptide as he has to head out to St. George tomorrow. That first one is in there for a strike where he will be at Utah Tech alongside his teammate Brandon Weiland. What a productive summer it's been for Nate Pone. Behind 0-1. That one outside, a 1-1 count. You look at the numbers, 208 batting average in 19 games with 5 RBIs and 13 runs. And we know it was a struggle for him over the last week of the season. The biggest thing that he provided was just a lot of depth. The 1-1, that one is high. It's a 2-1 count. He could play in left field. He could DH, of course. He was behind the dish. He hit for contact. He was able to show off the speed as well, which is very hard to see from catchers oftentimes. 2-1, and he inside-outs that one, but it's foul down the first base line. He had 6 stolen bases in 7 attempts. He was also able to throw out runners as well. Mentioned that game on the 11th. He threw out 2 runners in the first. He threw out Sawamura, and he threw out Jackson Tyler to get through a unconventional 1-2-3 top of the first inning in that one. He also had 3 stolen bases himself in that game. So he's proven his worth, why he is such a valuable asset to the team. Perhaps this is his last AB, but goes down swinging right here. Bergman battles back and fires the high heat for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, what a summer. Just to wrap up on that for Nate Pone. You talk about the speed. I remember the first time I was on the call with Sam Evans, and I saw him running the first base, and it was like, Nate Pone has some speed on him, and sure enough, he flashed the speed all summer long. Had a good arm, too, behind the plate.
2 on and 1 out now, and for Madden Akko, looks at that one down. It's an 0-1 count. Well, he's been hard to put away. He's 1 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Reached on a walk in the 2nd and the 4th inning. Would come around to score in that 4th inning. That was the 2nd run as part of the 2-run base hit from Reed Montgomery. So 1-1 count after a big cut and a miss on the high heat. He, of course, had a base hit to lead off the 6th inning and would later come around to score on Bradley Navarro's RBI knock. That is where the Riptide stand with their offense right now. Now 1 outside. It's a 2-1 count. And rather, it was on, of course, the Alex Dolan triple that was the RBI run. Two and one with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th, and Madden Akko hits that one out in towards center field. Gave it a good ride, but Sawamura retreated back. That'll allow Travis Curry to move up to 3rd, so the runners are on the corners with 2 out.
It's good contact by Madden Akko, sent it far into center field. Way to track it down for Sawamura, racing towards his right. And that's the first time tonight that Akko is retired.
I'll bring up Zach Woodson, who pinch hit for Reed Montgomery in the 6th and grounded out to short. That was a very nice play from Aguirre after the leadoff base hit from Madden Akko. Mentioned some more changes as well, as this time for the Barons. In the bottom half of this inning, it was Nigel Buckley who took over for Isaac Ocampo behind the dish. First one from Bergman. Woodson lines that one straight back into the net. Bergman trying to complete his longest outing of the season already. Just needs 1 more out for 3 innings of work. 0-1. That one is up and in, a 1-1 count, and you get a sense for James Bishop's squad that he really wants to just get innings out of him so he can save some arms, pending the result of this one, of course. But the sizable lead that they have appears more than likely that they will be headed north tomorrow to take on the Walnut Creek Crawdads. 1-1. That one nearly hit him, a 2-1 count, and what a story that would be for the CCL. You look at that. It was a Crawdads team that was there in 2024, couldn't complete the job. They got swept by the Oaks. And, of course, they lost last summer to the Stompers, but then they returned the favor this year. The 2-1, that one is close, but 3-1 count. So regardless between these two teams, one of them is going to be getting their first CCL title, regardless, and that is something that is very exciting.
Yeah, you talk about summer ball, right? It's long days, it's a long process, and that's got to be a good feeling to, in the end, come out on top. And for one of these teams, like you mentioned, Colin, it's going to be them.
A big cut and a miss from Woodson right there to run it full. And also, you think about for the Barons team and really what their place, the MLB Youth Academy. It was the first of now 10 that were created that was founded in 2006 to provide a non-for-profit organization to provide youth with a lot more access. That one is a ball, so the Riptide will have the bases full now with the 2-out walk. That'll prompt, of course, James Bishop to come out to the mound right here to potentially be the end of the line for his starter, but instead we'll take a seat. Trust him right there to kind of get through it, and that's good trust between a coach and a pitcher right there.
It's going to be a long weekend, that best-of-3 game series. Should be an interesting matchup. We know the Barons have a really good pitching staff. Walnut Creek, a good batting lineup.
Rogowski lined that one straight back. He, of course, had that RBI triple in the 3rd that brought in Madden Akko. That, at that point in time, made it a 15-4 game before Navarro was able to follow up with an RBI knock of his own. 0-1. Big cut and a miss right there. Now Bergman's just 1 strike away from getting out of this thing unscathed. 0-2 with 2 outs and the bases full of Riptide. That 0-2 is in there on the outer half. A close 0-2 pitch. Rogowski goes down looking, and the Riptide will strand the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. The Barons still lead double digits. It's 15-5 through 7 frames. Top of the 8th here, and the Barons still lead at 15-5 over the Orange County Riptide. It's a new arm for the Riptide. It'll be their their 6th arm used here tonight. Number 21, Julian Hines. This will be his 11th appearance this summer. Has a 2.63 ERA through 13 2/3. Logged an inning and 2/3 with 4 hits and earned run. No walks and 2 Ks on Sunday up at Slow. He will now be facing the top of the order, beginning with A.G. Sawamura, the lefty, followed by Mark Emmerman, the righty, and Jason Delviar, the other righty in the hole. His first one to Sawamura is a slider that popped out of the hand a little early, missed wide, a 1-0 count. Sawamura has been aboard 3 times. He had a base hit and a run scored in the first, reached on an error later on in that inning, then also had a walk and came around to score in the 5th inning. That one missed, and it's a 2-0 count. Sawamura still in the portal as of right now, but any school would be lucky to have him going forward. He really does embody all the characteristics of a leadoff hitter. 2-0, in there for a called strike. He's had a good night against the Riptide. He'd actually somewhat struggled in those games against the Riptide. He was just 5 for 24, but he did have 2 RBIs, 3 walks with 6 punch-outs in 6 games against the Riptide coming into tonight. 2-1, gets underneath that one and sends it back foul over just above the Riptide dugout and onto the party patio over by the third base side.
Also defensively, there was a game earlier this summer where Sawamura was in center field and he made an incredible diving catch. So he's really done it all for the Barons this year.
He's now, of course, up to 30 stolen bases. 2-2. That one is skied in toward shallow left. Drifting in was Harrington. Now has a beat on it and puts it away for the first out in the 8th.
Good start to his outing for Julian Hines.
That'll now bring up Mark Emmerman, who had the RBI in the first off the air and RBI knock later on in the first inning for the final run in that one. Then, of course, had the RBI double in the 5th. Officially 2 for 5 in this one. Gets underneath that one and hits it in toward shallow right. Drifting in quickly is Zach Woodson, and he puts it away for the second out.
2 quick outs here for Julian Hines. Long run for Zach Woodson that time. Able to get under it in the end and make the catch.
And, of course, we'll now bring up Jason Del Villar, who is officially 1 for 3 with a pair of walks in this one. Had a base hit in the 5th and came around to score in that inning as well. Worked a walk last time in the 6th. Digs in for what could potentially be his final at-bat tonight. Hines fires that strike in there on the inner half. It's a 0-1 count. The Wagner commit facing hot bat in Jason Del Villar, who lines that one way back foul. It's an 0-2 count.
Good for Julian Hines. He's one of the few pitchers on this pitching staff that has been here since the beginning. He was on the opening day roster, and he's stayed with Orange County to the very end.
0-2 quickly to Jason Del Villar. The leg kick fires that one. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. They'll check on the throwdown from Pone over to Akko. A 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning. The Riptide still down 15-5. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. (15-5), the Barons lead here in the bottom of the 8th at the Orange County Great Park. Pinch hitter Hunter Harrington faces the new arm, the righty, number 26, Gabriel Cancino. And that one cut on and missed. It's an 0-1 count. For Cancino, this will be his 8th appearance out of the 7th appearance out of the pen, the 8th total of the summer. 11 2/3 innings of work with a 3.86 ERA. Fires that fastball, just missed on the outer half, a 1-1 count. This will be his first outing since the 22nd. Last Wednesday at Conejo, and that was actually a start for him, his first of the season. Had 4 innings of work, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 was earned with a walk and 4 Ks. Now 1-1 from Harrington is hit out in towards center field. Quickly drifting in is Sawamura on a dead sprint, does his signature hop to catch it here in the bottom of the 8th.
Covered a lot of ground there, Sawamura did in center field. Thought that the shortstop Aguirre might make the catch, but instead it was Sawamura for out number 1.
Brock Fold still in the game. Only he and Madden Akko are the remaining starters still in the ball game. Akko has reached 3 times in this game, 2 on a fielder's choice and 1 on a walk in the 3rd. That one is in there on the outer half. It's an 0-1 count. Cancino quickly trying to get back ahead on the mound. The leg kick. Drifts and fires the 0-1, the fastball on the outer half, 0-2. Well, you talk about the Riptide, the recent playoff history. Since 2023, when they went away from the double elimination style bracket and just took the top 3 teams from each league facing off each other, the 0-2 is skipped in the dirt, 1-2. They, of course, used to just take the top 6 teams and they would play each other in that style tournament. Now they've divided it 3-3, and they each play each other, the best of the best from the North and South. In 2023, they went 1-1. They actually defeated Conejo 5-4 in the wild card game. That was on the 1st of August in 2023. Folds lines that one out in towards left field for a one-out base hit, and the Riptide have some life. It's actually a come-from-behind victory, probably one of their more memorable playoff wins. They were down by as many as 4 after Conejo put up 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th. The Riptide responded with 4 in the bottom of the 5th, later walked it off on a walk-off walk. It was former Riptide Reese Chapman who got the job done. Another player, Nathan Cadena Jr., of course, the brother of a former Riptide player, and Isaac Cadena, the fellow USC Trojan, had 2 hits and a run scored in that game. Their dad, Nathan Cadena Sr., of course, was drafted by the Yankees in 1996. Cancino fires to Dennis Fitzpatrick, who hits that one heads up over there to the coaches. Everyone appears to be okay. Saw Coach James Bishop kind of lift the legs over there. He's been around this game a long time.
Yeah, bodies scattering over there. I will say, though, that is bold to sit there and you see the Riptide coaches are in the dugout.
Sometimes Coach Evans will come out of the dugout, but for the most part, he's been in there so far tonight. James Bishop and crew is still sitting out there over by their dugout outside in those chairs. 0-1 to Dennis Fitzpatrick. Lines that one straight back. It's an 0-2 count. Mentioned that 2023 season. It, of course, was an unfortunate loss the following day on the 2nd of August in 2023. They lost just 1-0 out in Pasadena at Arroyo Seco. So the last 3 seasons, it was the Saints who ended the Riptide season in 2023, the Riptide who ended the Saints season in 2024, and then the Saints got him back with an 8-6 victory here on the 1-year anniversary last year on July 29th. But this year it's looking more than likely that a new face in the playoffs this summer and the Barons are going to be the team to do that as the Saints were eliminated. 1-2 now to Dennis Fitzpatrick. Cancino fires. That one is high, a 2-2 count. Obviously, just the brief playoff history for the Barons. They had just their first ever playoff victory yesterday in their 4-0 shutout of Conejo. Just their second ever season in the playoffs. 2-2 now. Fires it in towards Fitzpatrick, who just gets a piece of that to stay alive. But they are just now 5 outs away from making it that much closer to the big dance. Two and two with 1 out here. The bottom of the 8th inning. Cancino fires. That one is lined straight back into the net, so Fitzpatrick making Cancino have to throw a lot of pitches here. Keeps the at-bat alive. Two and two with 1 out. Fitzpatrick will wait for another pitch from Cancino. Brockfold still over at first. 2-2 is a cut and a miss. He goes with the slider to finally put away Fitzpatrick. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th.
That's a great pitch right there from Cancino to get Dennis Fitzpatrick chasing. And that is now 8 strikeouts on the night for the Barons pitching staff.
And now Travis Curry, who pinch hit for Castro in the 7th and worked a walk, made his way over to 3rd before getting stranded. That was when the Riptide left the bases full. Now back for his 2nd plate appearance. Looking to keep the bottom of the 8th inning alive, but we'll look at the fastball. It's a 1-0 count. Cancino with the leg kick fires. A big cut and a miss from Travis Curry right there. 1-1. Cancino just needs 2 more strikes, 1 more ball in play for the final out. Here's his 1-1. That one dropped down low, 2-1. Of course, for Cancino, was Norwalk native and went to Compton College, the adjoining campus that is right there with the MLB Youth Academy where this very Barons team plays. 2-1. That one is skipped away. It's a 3-1 count.
It's been a pretty productive summer for Cancino. Just his 8th appearance of the year, but he's looked good so far.
3-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Fires that one and catches the inner half. Travis Curry was ready to toss that bat, but home plate umpire John DeCesar, as it was a strike on the inner half, so it's a full count. That will allow Folds to go over at first. Cancino trying to inch him that much closer to their first championship series. Folds will go, and a big cut and a miss right there. Cancino delivers in the bottom of the 8th. Back-to-back Ks to wrap it up, and they take their double-digit lead into the 9th. Top of the 9th now here in what will be the final game played in the 2026 season here at the Orange County Great Park. 15-5 the Barons lead. Their last potential time coming up to the plate more than likely. Just 3 outs away from continuing their path to that prized possession. Weiland fires. That one is down low and in. It's a 1-0 count. The new arm and perhaps the final arm for the Riptide, their 7th pitcher to go tonight. Number 9, Brandon Weiland. This will be his 12th appearance. Through 18 innings of work, has a 2-flat ERA with 9 walks and 18 punch-outs. 1-0. That one is pulled hard down the left field line off the bat of Nick Sanders. Will kick all the way to the wall. Harrington will pick it up, and Sanders has a leadoff stand-up double here in the top of the 9th. He is aboard for the 3rd time, or rather the 4th, and his first hit of the night.
That baseball was just scorched to left. Great start to the inning for the Barons, and Sanders just continues his really good night.
That in his 20th game now, he is officially hitting 16 of them for Nick Sanders. Heck of a run for this season. Came in hitting almost 380. Has just raised that average here tonight. David Aguirre now steps up in the box. That one is inside outed over towards Fitzpatrick. Backpedals a little bit in towards shallow right center to put it away for the first out here in the 9th.
Way to backtrack there for Dennis Fitzpatrick, but Brandon Weiland has been excellent for the Riptide this year. He's coming in with 7 straight scoreless outings, and throughout that stretch, he's allowed just 2 hits. We saw the leadoff double from Nick Sanders. See how Weiland can bounce back here.
That'll now bring up the pinch hitter for Isaac Ocampo. He's been behind the dish in the last bottom half of the inning. Is the number 16, Nigel Buckley. Inside outs that one over by their coaches. Heads up. A little bit of friendly fire over there, but it's an 0-1 count. for Nigel Buckley. Spent this past season at Cal State Dominguez Hills, the very school that David Aguirre committed to. Here's the 0-1. That one missed up and in. It's a 1-1 count. Good to see Nigel Buckley back. This will be his first game since the 18th of July at Conejo. So his 24th official game of the season. Hit .231 with a pair of homers and 13 RBIs. 1-1, cuts and misses. It's a 1-2 count. One and two with one out after the leadoff double from Nick Sanders, who stands over at second. Brendan Weiland fires the 1-2, a cut and a miss with the heat on the outer half. Quickly 2 away now after the leadoff double here in the ninth.
Yeah, really good bounce back after that double from Sanders. Gets the pop-up, and now the strikeout to Nigel Buckley.
That'll now bring up Jackson Tyler. Has 5 RBIs in this one. Had an RBI hit by pitch when the bases were full in the first. Had a bases-clearing triple in the fourth to make it a 10-0 game. And also had an RBI base hit in the fifth. Struck out swinging back in the seventh, though. Looks at that one, and that one clipped him right there. Rather, it was a foul ball, so it's an 0-1 count.
Looks like it just caught the knob there, or a piece of the bat to make it a foul ball.
Just trying to keep this inning alive and tack on to their already impressive lead, in which they have matched their season-high total that they did just less than a week ago at Slow. That 1-0 nearly clipped him again. It's a 2-0 count. They, of course, did that on Saturday, where they went up to Slow and handled business to get themselves a playoff victory, or rather to clinch the playoffs. Now here they have a chance to do the same with 15 spot and get them to the title. That 2-0 is hit in towards shallow center. That is going to drop right in front of Brock Folds. Nick Sanders is coming around third. The relay from Harrington will not be in time. It's back to an 11-run lead here in the top of the ninth, 16-5.
Bases clearing triple in the fourth, RBI single in the fifth, and now another single to drive in one more run tonight for the Barons. What a game for Jackson Tyler.
A season-high 6 RBIs. Absolutely terrific. When your team needed him most, he delivered near the bottom of the order. Bottom of the order that has done the bulk of the damage for this Barons bats. Weiland trying to get through the rest of the inning. Will fire that one. It is an 0-1 count. It's going to be the pinch hitter Sean Ishii for Bryce Morrison, who is DHing tonight. But with the lead that they have, won't need to worry about taking the field in the bottom of the ninth with the DH. 0-1. That one is low and away. It's a 1-1 count. Sean Ishii, this will be his 19th game officially. Has primarily been a pinch runner for them. Only has 14 official ABs. Is still looking for his first hit. Has 2 starts on the season. 1-1. Gets underneath that one and fouls it straight back. A 1-2 count. Last start was on the 26th on Sunday at Arroyo Seco, where he was 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 Ks. One and two with 2 outs. The Barons already added one more to give them their most runs this season. 1-2 with a riser fastball. Gets Sean Ishii out in front of that. Brandon Weiland's potential final inning with the Riptide this summer. Gives up 1 run in the top of the ninth, but gets through it and has a couple Ks to add to the ledger. The Riptide are going to need a lot of help. It's a 16-5 lead going into the bottom of the ninth. The Barons are 3 outs away from making it to their first CCL Championship Series. Standing in the way now in his second inning of work on the mound, Gabriel Cancino. He will try to throw it to Tatum Marsh. Cancino fires that one high. It's a 1-0 count. If you're the Barons squad, this bottom of the ninth inning, despite it being an 11-run lead, has to feel eternal. Just itching for that feeling this program has yet to accomplish. The 1-0 is in there. It's a 1-1 count. They are backed by a slew of talented hitters and a terrific rotation, and their new manager in his first season in that role with James Bishop, though he's been with this program for 18 incredible years. 1-1, cut on and missed. It's a 1-2 count.
Everybody in that dugout right now for the Barons is on their feet. They know they're 3 outs away from a huge accomplishment.
The 1-2, cuts on and missed from Tatum Marsh. He goes down swinging to start the bottom of the ninth. The Barons are 2 measly outs away. Nate Pone, who pinch hit in the 7th inning, struck out swinging, back up for his second plate appearance. Cancino's first one has him out in front, 0-1, making quick work right now, just like he did in that bottom of the 8th inning. The 0-1. That one is skipped in the dirt. It's a 1-1 count.
And Colin, you think about the season that this Barons team had, right? 18 and 16. There were road bumps along the way, ups and downs, and they stayed together as a team, and what an accomplishment right now.
Waiting for those 2 more outs. The 1-1 missed down in the dirt, 2-1 count. The Riptide will fall to 2-4 in their last 6 playoff games. The Barons fire the 2-1 from Cancino, a beautiful slider. Started over in the left-handed side towards Pone and fired over to the outer half for a 2-2 count. Madden Akko stands on deck as the potential last hitter for the Riptide this season. 2-2. That one is hit on the ground over toward third. Emmerman fires from deep in the hole, but Pone's speed will beat it out over at first. Got to credit the hustle right there for Nate Pone. He legs out an infield single.
We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Nate Pone is a speedy catcher, racing down the first baseline, and he's called safe, and it's an uphill battle, but the Riptide, just a positive sign here in the ninth.
And now it turns things over to Madden Akko, who's 1 for 2, but does have 2 runs scored and a pair of walks in this one. Trying to keep the line moving. Double play is in order. Nate Pone over at first. Cuts on and misses from that one. It's an 0-1 count. With 1 out. Cancino fires. That one is rolled on the ground over towards Aguirre. A 6-4-3 double play. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the MLB Barons are championship bound. A 16-5 victory wraps up this one. The CCL South belongs to the Barons in 2026. They will head north and take on the Walnut Creek Crawdads, trying to win their first ever CCL title. What an accomplishment for James Bishop and his squad.
Just huge congratulations to James Bishop and this entire MLB Academy team. Incredible postseason run already for them, right? They looked impressive last night against Conejo. Tonight, 7 runs to start this ball game and just completely dominated from start to finish. And you got to be happy for this team because of how much they've accomplished this year.
Well, we welcome you up in towards the broadcast booth. I'm Colin Costigan, joined alongside Aiden Pham, and what a terrific run it was for the Barons. But that officially means that the Riptide's 2026 campaign is over. And in between our 2 years here, you working with the broadcast, me working behind the scenes, and me joining you guys this season, it has been a terrific summer for myself and for you as well. Thank you so much for welcoming me on into this broadcast crew. It's been a terrific summer. A huge thank you to all of the interns who make everything possible that you see here at the Great Park, from concessions to player relations to everything that you see on the field. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad to be alongside a great crew.
Well, Colin, you did a great job all summer long, and it was a pleasure to work alongside you. But summer ball is tough, right? It's long, it's late nights and long days, and it takes a lot of people to put this together. So big thanks to David Lamb, our GM, Craig Russell, our owner, and it was a great summer. Unfortunate end to the summer, but a lot of really positive memories that everyone can take away from this year.
It has been a summer to remember, not just for us, but for the Riptide as well. A huge congratulations once again to the MLB Barons for making it to their first CCL Championship Series. That'll be it here from the Great Park in the 2026 season. I'm Colin Costigan. He's Aiden Pham. For our entire production crew, to our fellow broadcasters over there in Aiden, and rather Sam Evans and Avi Singh as well, thank you so much for tuning in all season long. Have a great night, everybody.